Yo, what's going on, guys? C4IQ here, penetrating your eardrums. Situational damage. We're doing a podcast. It's going to be like the first one of this year. This one's going to be about girls in the FGC, females, women. And joining me is Elf's RedBean. How's it going?
What's up, folks?
What's good?
Good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Me and RedBean have done before. We done like a DragonBall Z tournament. Remember that was ages ago.
Yeah, we've done a couple like commentating together and just generally just like chilling vibes in.
Yeah.
Chatting about the game.
Yeah, obviously not obvious, but we have met obviously offline. I said obvious again.
Yeah,
it's not obvious. But yeah, we met offline. I think we first met offline, wasn't it? Or was it through the Facebook group? Did I meet you before that? I think I met you before that, didn't I?
Do you know what? I have a feeling it might be the Facebook group because I remember the first time we played Dragon Ball and I didn't know who you are, and it was at that time where I was like bare confident, and I was everyone that challenged me on that Facebook group, I was just like waltzing through them, and then I played you and it was like no. It was a whole different situation. So yeah, I think we first played and then met offline.
Yeah, you're right. I remember because I got in the group and I think you was the first person I played in that group, and I was like, oh, sick. If everyone's at this level, this is going to be a mad group. But it wasn't. But it's a lot of, because that group is massive, it's got a lot of like Budokai players, Tenkaichi players, just people that are new to fighting games in general. So
yeah,
it was weird. Like, out of all the people, I played you and it was like, oh, you live in England.
Yeah, and then it turned out that you do like the Wednesday meetups as well in Tottenham, which is basically where I live. So yeah,
that was, considering how many people were in that group, that's kind of freaky.
Yeah, it was fate. It was fate, man.
Of course it was. And it's fate that we've done this podcast. It's a matter of time until this, I don't want to say it's an issue. This topic came up again. Like, every year it kind of cycles through and someone has an experience and then it comes to the forefront. Yeah, I think. I think like there's been a lot of drama recently. Let's be honest. Like there's drama all the time around this particular issue, and like for good reason. Sometimes things blow up. Sometimes they just blow up way out of proportion. But there's been a lot happening recently, and I think over the past few months, like this question of women in the FGC has like become quite a big thing. Loads of huge cases, which I'm sure we'll go into. I'm quite excited to be chatting about it, but yeah. Yeah,
loads of big things.
I think it needs to be known, and especially like I was saying off stream, from your perspective as someone who, is in, to say, that camp. So you've probably seen this. You know friends that have gone through it, so it's good to hear it from your perspective, other than a guy's perspective that can like claim ignorance or whatever. But before we get into that, let's get your origin story. I know you from Dragon Ball, but I think you started NRS.
Yeah, so I actually started with the NRS community, which is quite ironic because the NRS community has been one of the communities where there's a lot that's blown up like over the past 6 months to a year. A whole history that we can go through, but I started with Injustice 2. But actually, if I think about it, I started playing the very first fighting game I played was MK9, but I had no idea what MK9 was back in the day. And obviously, looking back, I'm like, shit, I actually played MK9, but missed the whole excitement of the scene. So that's quite sad. But I used to play MK9 just after a night out, drunkenly with friends. I played Striker, which was quite ironic because I'm not necessarily the fondest person of cops, but
fair enough. Say no more.
So that was good. But the first fighting game I played properly, actually tried to learn it and found out what frame data and plus and all that shit mean.
Yeah,
is Injustice 2.
Okay.
So that was the first one, and then first ever event I went to was it was Versus Fighting 2017 actually, because I'm from Birmingham, so I said, oh, there's a thing going on in Birmingham, so went there on my own, which was interesting.
Oh wow.
And then the next game after that was Dragon Ball, and then now Soul Calibur.
2017. That's bad because I was there, but I wouldn't have seen you.
Were you there?
Yeah, I streamed KI, BB, Chrono. I can't remember which one it was. One of the BBs.
and Guilty Gear. We was upstairs in
Ah,
one of the
okay.
rooms. That's why I never saw you. Like,
Yeah,
we was
because I
tucked
think
away.
Injustice was like on that little middle floor kind of thing.
It was. I think that was the year. It was a big deal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was huge that year. All the top players were there. It was great.
Who did I play? Who was the Wonder Woman? Well, no, I don't think he mained Wonder Woman, but he played Wonder Woman. What was his name?
Slayer.
No, he's the EU player. Damn it, and he plays DBZ, not Yamini. What was his name?
Wonder Woman. I know Katana Prime played Wonder Woman, but I don't think that's who you're
It's not
talking about.
Because he was there, and I was playing Wonder Woman at the time, and he was behind me, and he was giving me pointers. I got bodied by some Poison Ivy player.
Oh,
I remember
that Poison Ivy player actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and he wore like a cap and he bodied me. It was bad. It was really bad. Oh, that's gonna bug me now. I'm gonna give him a shout out because I know I follow him on Twitter and everything. But yeah, I wouldn't have seen you that year. But that was like the second year I went to. Oh no, the third year I went to Versus Fighting. The second year I streamed it. So yeah, and we didn't bump into each other. I didn't see a female playing that year. I saw females playing.
Losty Girl played in Injustice 2. But do you know what? Can I just do a quick shout out to Rudy? Because I realized this literally like a week ago when you asked me to do this. But I realized that I actually played Rudy's Red Hood?
Oh yeah, Red Hood, yeah.
Yeah, and I remembered that I sat down with him and we played a couple of games together and he was giving me tips. And it just clocks that it was him. So like, shout out to Rudy.
Shout out to Rudy, wherever he is. I know he's been doing a lot of travelling. He done so sick in DBZ, then he went, you know what, I'm going to live IRL for a minute. And then I saw him playing Apex, so I don't know where he is now. He's definitely in the Netherlands. Hopefully he comes back, because he'll definitely be back for MK. Definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's your origin story. Do you want to give, is there like a story behind your name? Or...
do you want to know the real answer? This is actually like, a lot of people have asked me this and I've refused to answer it because I try and keep my sort of IRL life separate from my gaming life. But you know what? I'll give you the lowdown.
Wow, exclusive everyone. Clip this.
It's not that interesting. It's actually not that interesting. But so my gamer tag is RedBean. So my surname is McBean. So that's the bean bit.
Right.
And the red bit is like, I'm quite a radical. Like basically, to cut a long story short, I believe in like a radical overhaul of our current economic system. Okay. So that's what the red stands for, because I'm a bit of a rebel, bit of a revolutionary, radical, whatever you want to call it. So that's RedBean.
That's actually.
But yeah, I've never told anyone that, so that's the lore out there now. Everyone knows.
That's way too deep. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I like the color red. So, boy,
that's what I've told people, but actually red's not my favorite color. Blue's my favorite color, so now you know.
I know too much. Have you seen? You know, when you were saying all that stuff, I was thinking of Superman Red. Have you seen that?
I haven't, you know.
There's a comic where basically Superman goes, "Look, if you break the law, I'm just gonna snap your neck." Basically, that's how he goes on. That world reminds me of what you were saying about. I like the color. The name Red in the name RedBean is all radical and stuff, and it reminds me of Superman Red. But yeah,
okay.
I'll have to link.
I think I'm a bit of a nicer guy than Superman. Superman's got like a dark turn to him, which I don't support. So.
Well, yeah, you will hate that comic then. You just go. It's basically just the Injustice story. It's basically that. Where Superman's just like, yeah, I can't be asked with trying to tell people to do good stuff. I'm just gonna force it. Like, that's the kind of radical stuff he's on. But yeah, so RedBean. I guess before we go into the topic, how did you come into contact with Elf?
Oh, do you know what? Because we're gonna probably be talking like about a lot of like negative stuff, but Elf is, I think, one of the success stories, and Lord Grimulus. I just attended one of the Elf events in East London one time because I was kind of looking for like a local to go to for Injustice 2, and Grimulus basically like just took me under his wing basically and got me involved, encouraged me. So yeah, I've been part of Elf ever since, really.
Sick. Definitely shout outs to Grim, aka Vern.
Yeah, absolutely. Great guy.
Does so much, yeah. Off his own back, with no support. He's always been trying to just grow a community And
yeah, absolutely.
It's got massive. I remember when he just started off in Stratford, literally just Stratford, in Loading Bar, and he was just trying to get people to play games he didn't even like. He just wanted to grow a community. He's got like leaps and bounds. That's
exactly what he did with. It's no secret that Vern isn't that fond of Injustice 2 or even Dragon Ball, but he did stuff to support the community. So big shout outs to him.
Yeah, no, totally. Like he's a KOF head through and through, but he takes one for the team. Like he will support all the other games. I know he's really got into Tekken.
He's a wingman.
Yeah, he's a wingman. Like most people will be like, oh, this isn't about my game. I don't really get it, but he's not like that. He done it with Street Fighter. He did it with Guilty Gear for a minute. He obviously tried it with DBZ, like we said, and Injustice. So shouts to we need more people like Vern for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get on to the topic about females in the FGC. I don't know where we can start. I don't know if you want to start with stories, if you want to start with your opinion. I've told the chat to obviously chuck in some questions if they've got any.
Yeah, I've got the stream open so I can like keep an eye on any questions as well.
Cool. Everyone in the chat, go tell people, female or male, equal rights. Tell everyone, because it involves all of us. So we might as well get out in the open, clear the air. I'll try and justify if I can some of the shady stuff guys do. I don't know if I can, because
alright, how about this one then? Let me tell you the latest thing that's happened.
Okay, yeah.
To me personally, I've never had like the deepest things happen. Like some shady shit obviously, and some of it you can tell it's just completely related to the fact that I'm the only female in the room and whatever. But the latest thing that's happened is I was in a lobby with some of the top Soul Calibur 6 players, and shout outs to the UK Soul Calibur community because they're honestly like amazing. But obviously like every grouping has its weirdos. Yeah. So I was in this lobby and one of the people in the lobby just like randomly added me, close friend friend request as well, and I didn't realize until after I accepted them, so I deleted it and added them again. Cool, normal, fine. So then he messages me, well I'm assuming it's a he, but it was definitely he, and he messages me and was like, oh hey darling, like, and just like completely, oh you were playing really well darling, like just random shit and calling me darling for no reason. So I just really politely said, oh hey, you know, thanks, don't worry about the darling thing, just call me Shanice or RedBean because that's how I want to be called, so don't bother with darling. So then he messaged back like, oh that's alright babe, I'll call you babe instead. And I was like, yeah, no, you really don't have to do that, but left it as it is. It was fine. Got a couple of games in here or there, and then I think he invited me to like a voice chat or something like a few times, but I wasn't really interested in chatting over the mic with this random person. Then he deleted me, and the next time we played online he started teabagging me just for no reason. Yeah, okay. This is the random behavior. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think it was all sparked because I said, don't call me darling, just call me Shanice. Shanice is perfectly fine. RedBean also very fine. And I think like that triggered him, to be honest. That's just like a minor thing, but like it's just an example of the drip. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. If that happens, I'm guessing that is a very common story. Obviously I can't justify. I'm not even gonna attempt to. I'll walk up. Did you the teabagging bit? Did you beat him or something, or beforehand?
I would say he's definitely got the edge on me. I've beat him like I would say like 40 to 60%. Right. So it's like a back and forth thing. So I don't even think it's got to do with that. I think it's just more just trying to throw shade at me because I just put some boundaries up and was like, look, I don't know you. You're a fucking avatar. You don't even have a picture on your PSN. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't call me darling.
Twitter eggs. That's what I was. Just egg Twitter heads. Like, they're just nobodies. So I guess one other thing. Did he know you was female from the get-go?
He must have done because he called me darling, and then when I said don't bother with the darling, he messaged saying, "Oh, I thought you were female," and I was like, "I am. I just don't want to be called darling." Right. It's like those two things couldn't exist at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, first of all, I just got told female is preferred. Then I'm guessing girl.
Woman. Yeah, different people prefer different things for different reasons. Like if you really want to go into depth in it, like a lot of trans women will prefer like women over female for like loads of different reasons. But I'm personally fine with whatever. But yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the trans thing is definitely a different subject, but I don't mind female, girl, woman. All of that's the same to me. But if you prefer female, like in the chat, I'll do female for now. I'll try and remember if I can. Yeah, women in overall.
No, I think they're saying women over female.
Oh, women over female. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess like women's the most neutral. It's definitely the most neutral one.
Yeah, this is.
I don't mind, but some people do, so it's fine by me, to be honest.
I might as well, before we go back onto your point, I'm gonna put out a massive disclaimer, and you can like verify this. I try to be nice, but I'm so not about politics. Like, or you know, like how for people that don't know like what I'm like, I'm just me. Like, I will say things and I probably will irritate people. I'll shout to Jammers. Even Jammers are saying woman is better. See, to me, it's just like they're all the same, like dictionary wise. They all mean the same thing. I know the word's different, but to me they're not the same. But this is why I'm doing this.
It's the context, isn't it? Like the politics of all the terms are different.
So someone might see those words meaning different things. So I totally respect that. If you tell me, then I can know. But I'm very black and white, and it's just like. Guys,
but to be honest,
dudes.
I think I have to say, just like, I don't mean to like blow your trumpet or anything, but I think you're one of the good dudes in the FGC because you have your opinions, but you're willing to have a conversation and listen. And like that's one of the biggest things. Like, have your opinions, that's fine, but at least be open to like conversation, discussion, like trying to hear out other people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's like the most important thing. Unless it's frame data. I don't normally say something
like setups. You don't
setups, stats, like stuff like that. In-game stuff, you can prove someone wrong, but opinions you can't prove people wrong. That's why I've got such a like beef with like tier lists and stuff. I hate that sort of stuff because it's like you're trying to force your opinion on someone and saying this is right and this is wrong when it's like no, someone else might see it differently. So so let's go back to your experience. Like I said, I can't defend that. I understand why guys may get upset when they lose to a girl. I can see it, but for me, this is like me talking, not other people, like other guys. There's loads of guys in the chat, they can say how they feel about it. For me, I think it's the case of being beat by a minority.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's how I see it. Like, but I still wouldn't do that. If I lost to a minority, I wouldn't do that because I've heard a few like podcasts when they go over this subject, and I was thinking of the low tier god versus Broly legs.
How about that?
Oh yeah, he flipped the fuck out, didn't he?
He went berserk. Like, right, this is gonna show my true colors, and this will be the point where people jump out of chat. So, for people that don't know, low tier god was streaming. He played Broly legs. If you don't know Broly legs, he is basically, you can go look him up. He's basically disabled and he plays with his mouth, basically, right? He was on Low Tier God stream, and what I remember, because this happened ages ago, in the stream, Low Tier God does his normal Low Tier God thing. He blows up, goes mad, get that arse banned, all that sort of jazz, right? Broly was trolling him because he was stream sniping him. So he got in his stream, in his chat, started talking all this mess. Then Low Tier God went on Twitter and posted a picture of Kang and said that he plays like Kang. So Kang's the guy at the turtles. You know the brain that's in the body? He basically said that was him. Right. And I laughed. I said, that's not funny, that's not cool. But he had a point because I didn't see the cap. Underneath, Low Tier God was basically saying, all you guys are getting mad that I'm, trolling or dissing, so I'm disabled. But for it to be equal, I should be able to troll him as much as he trolls me. Which he has a point. What he's trolling him about probably isn't the best thing, but he has a point. So he was basically saying that this person shouldn't get a pass because he's disabled. If he can dish out trolling and taking a piss at someone, he should be able to take it the same way. And I know that seemed like a tangent, but that's how I feel with the point that people just don't like getting beat by people that are, well, things that are, you know, in a minority. So I don't necessarily think it's because of women. I think it's because it's unheard of to lose to someone who's a woman. Another example is someone just won a Tekken. What was the Tekken tournament? Where was it? There was a Tekken tournament that just happened, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I think the guy was from like Saudi Arabia. And
Pakistan.
Oh, was it Pakistan? Right.
Evo Japan, yeah, Arslan.
That's it. So when I was seeing everything, everyone's saying a Pakistani won Evo Japan, and I was just like, but you're only saying that because it's a minority. If it was an American, you wouldn't, or like someone from the EU, it would be like that player's a name. It wouldn't be where he's from. But because it's such a, you know, I don't want to keep saying minority, but it's so unique that he's from Pakistan and he won a massive tournament like that. So that's the thing that kind of takes focus, is where he's from, why he's different to the rest of the FGC. That's my opinion. Some guys are just dickheads, and they, you know, the masculinity has to be, you know, poured out of them. And apparently teabagging is how some guys do that. I don't know why.
Well, on the Arslan thing, I definitely think that sort of the fact that he's Pakistani kind of took over from his story. But on the flip side, I think there has been kind of like a downplaying of certain areas. So like Middle East in the NRS scene, for example. And I get the sense that there was some like European players of Pakistani origin who were like trying to big up something that they knew had like an area that they knew had really strong players, but that no one gives any credit to. So I think it was like a credit thing as well as anything else. But then that does kind of like overshadow the whole narrative in a way. But
for you, if you won something,
but in the same way, like just when what's his name won Evo, the Street Fighter 5 player, why has his name gone from my head?
Where's he from?
The UK guy.
Oh, Problem X.
Yeah, that's it. Just like how he won Evo, and it was like, oh, a Brit won Evo, like this is massive, big up the EU scene. Like it's quite a similar thing.
It is similar, yeah. And that reminded me of another example. This one, I'll make this really quick. When Luffy won Evo to Street Fighter 4, that's when everyone was like, oh my god, he's a pad player. You would never hear that now. but obviously back then, it was kind of uncommon for a pad player to even be considered good, let alone in a tournament. And I'm not trying to say that women and pads are the same, but obviously guys.
No, mate. Well, okay, 6, get it right.
I'm too old school apparently. But yeah, like the same way I couldn't comprehend why people thought playing on pads or a pad player would be worse than a stick player. Why would you think that if someone's a woman, why would they not be as good as a guy on games? Like back then, people said it all the time. That's an interesting question. It's bizarre. Like my brain is very logical. It's so logical. It pains. It hurts me. Right. So when people saying, "Oh, you play on pad," and they're weirded out by it, it's like, you know, there's things on pad that are easy to do on stick. Like, does that not comprehend or like go into someone's head? Because most games are played on stick at the time, playing on pad was considered like not like a taboo, but weird. Like, why would you do that?
Almost like it's a handicap. Like...
Yeah, and it's, if anything, it's not. Like, directionally, it's mathematically proven that you can do things quicker on a pad than you can on a stick.
Yeah.
You can get from forward to backwards on a pad quicker than you can on a stick. It's literally logic. You don't need a degree in maths to know that. But people were just weirded out, like, that was Luffy's thing. Not that he was from the EU. That was there as well, but it was more that he played on a PS2 pad. Like, but that's what it was.
When it comes to women, I think what I've heard a lot is that women are just naturally not as good at gaming. And this brings me to the next thing about the NRS community. And I don't want to say this is not an NRS specific problem. This is just a society problem. But when Slayer was said, and he's like a top player in the NRS community, he played Superman actually. he played Sup. He made an argument like maybe it was half a year ago that women can't be top players basically. And then the next major that he went to, he got beat by Infinity.
I remember that.
He got knocked out by Infinity, and I'm pretty sure she took a top 16 spot in that tournament. But I think the reason why people say that is because, like, generally people have this idea that you've got a female brain, you've got a male brain. They are hardwired to do completely different things. One is more rational, more mathematical, like, and the other one's more emotional. Do you know what I mean? Like, people have that idea.
Yeah, I've heard the science behind it.
And they apply that to gaming. Whereas, like, if you want to go into the actual science of it, that picture is completely wrong. But people just have their ideas. They have their, like, common sense ideas, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, even like that, the logical part of my brain is like, well, not every woman is gonna be like that, and every male is not like that. Like, why would you think that every woman should be painted with that brush that they're more emotional and can't be competitive? Because I've heard the whole competitive side, like, women aren't as competitive.
Yeah.
And they can't take losing as much. That's what I've heard. I don't believe it. But even if you did think that, why would you think every woman is like that? Clearly, it's not 100% of the time this statement is true. So to say that there's never going to be... For him to say that, and he's clearly not looked at other scenes, because Kiane's been banging people up in multiple games. So
absolutely.
It's just ignorance. And you can defend ignorance and you can't. Like, if someone's ignorant and they don't know, then it's like, okay, you don't know. But don't come up with statements like that if you don't know.
Yeah, this is the thing, and I think that's the difference between, like, I'm gonna keep shouting out the Soul Calibur community, but the Soul Calibur, at least the UK community, is really great, and I think part of it is, like, if you watch the tournament, Evo Japan, Winter Brawl, UK tournament, there is always at least a couple of female players in every tournament. Like, what was the one in front? The Brussels Challenge?
Yeah.
There was Kayane, and there was another top player who was, like, female sponsored, and she was doing really well, knocked out one of our UK players. And I think, like, the Soul Calibur crew just already know because they see women playing all the time, whereas other scenes it's been a lot slower to happen, or things become about other questions about, like, trans politics and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think certain communities, Neon's Chio was the player.
Okay. Oh yeah,
and
no, I didn't.
I've never had a problem or, like, seen drama happening around this question in the Soul Calibur community, and I think that says something. And I think it's because there's already so many good women players.
I've got, like, a weird question, but do you think certain fighting games draw in women? Is there a reason why kind of Soul Calibur's kind of bewildered by the reaction of other fighting game scenes? Because I know there's a lot of Smash women players.
Yeah, there are. I don't know what it is. I don't really know the history behind it or can give a reason for it. And to be fair, there are loads of women in other scenes as well, like NRS scene, like loads of women players. Street Fighter.
Tons of Street Fighter.
There's a few in DragonBall, Guilty Gear, like, everywhere you'll find them. But I don't know, I guess maybe the difference has been that in other scenes, like, women have to prove themselves, because no one's done it before them. So, like, NRS scene, for example, you've got players like Infinity who are starting to come up, and people fully respect. You can't not respect someone that makes top 16s, like, frequently and gets sponsored, like, all the time, because she's a good player and a good community member. And because that's just starting to happen in other scenes, whereas with Soul Calibur, they've had players like Kayane for years and years and years, just, like, kicking ass. So it's hard to turn around and chat shit about women, because, like, one of the top players in the world is leading this scene. So
they haven't really got a foot to stand on if they say that sort of scene. I've got a question that will probably put you on the spot. You can not answer if you don't want to. That's fine. What's your opinion on transgender players? Do you kind of put them under your umbrella? So players like Cara Face, Guilty, that are, like, openly, you know, like, Hello Kitty and stuff like that. Do you sort of, like, put them under a woman, like, just straight up it's a woman player, or is
I do,
transgender
I
a
do.
different category?
Well, obviously there is some difference between like someone who from birth has been comfortable with being a woman and someone who has been told that they're a man, or a boy, and then makes a transition later on in life. Like obviously that's a difference in how those two people have grown up, how those two people have been seen by the world and whatnot. But like if you look at how trans women and what's called cis women, so like women whose gender identity matches what they were assigned at birth, basically, like the treatment is exactly the same. So like from that perspective, and in fact a lot of trans women get treated worse because not only are they presenting to the scene as women, they're also got the other side, which is the fact that they're trans, so they get treated like shit for that reason as well. So like if you look at the issues are very, very similar. So for me, like I'm not sure we've got the time to like go into the politics, the history, the science, the biology, the all of that.
Yeah, nice.
But for me, I would say those women are women players as well.
Okay, I think I'd say the scandals that come out about women players normally encompass transgender. I think with transgender, maybe because the issues aren't like misogynistic, so it's not like, you know, your first story that really happened with someone who's transgender for the most part. It wouldn't.
Because there wouldn't be that assumption that, oh, maybe you can get with that person.
Exactly.
Which is the thing that's underneath it, right?
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Let's be real. Like that's what that guy was clearly thinking.
Yeah.
And when it's with transgender, I think it turns more malicious with like trolling and taking the piss. I definitely remember when I first started watching, there was a player called Caraface and or KO Police. She used to get relentless. Like the commentators would do it.
Yeah.
Like, she couldn't escape it. Like, let alone the chat. Like the chat is always toxic. But when the commentators were making like snide jokes, it was like, wow, like just why? Just are we not just here for games? Like that's what I thought I was tuning in for. Just for games, but
and it's like I don't know. I don't know how deep to be, but you'll sometimes, all right, mind my language, right? But you'll sometimes see some ugly buffalo men playing games, right? Like, let's be real right now. Let's be real right now.
Yeah.
But the commentators don't say nothing. It's about their skill. It's about, you know, what they're doing in the game. It's not about the fact that they look like a freaking, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But when it's someone that's trans, like that's worthy of comment, you know, or a woman that's worthy of comment. And it's like, wow, you're letting this look at this person, and no one says nothing about them because they've got skill. So that's what I think it should be about. If a person's got skill, allow them. Like, focus on the game that they're playing. Like, focus on the skills that they're bringing to the table. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually do. Like, that's really beyond me. Like, taking in someone's appearance, male or female, when it comes to like gaming, it's like the whole reason you're playing games for the game, not for your appearance. This isn't like
exactly.
Like, it's so weird. But yeah, you're right, and you don't notice it. Well, I don't notice it. The times I've noticed it, I'm just like, you're an idiot. Stop talking.
Yeah.
Aries did it with Cross Tekken. Was her name 4chan? Oh, I think it was 4chan. And there's this whole thing about he wanted to smell her feet or something crazy like that. And I was thinking, why would you wouldn't say that about a guy? Why are you saying that? Like,
yeah.
I think she was the only woman representative at Crossing the Line, I believe. She was a player. She didn't do super well, but she did pretty well. She did pretty good. I'm pretty sure she didn't lose every match, but it was basically like the first Big Brother gaming thing that they did. And yeah, that happened. And look at Aries now. This was before he was big. Like, now he's pretty much beyond fighting games. If you see like him streaming, he's way beyond fighting games. But he did that, and I don't know if it's because everyone knows he's quite funny or he's a troll. It kind of got brushed under the carpet, and I'm like, it doesn't matter how big you are, you can't say stupidness like that. You just can't. I know at Co-op Cup, one of the commentators said something about a girl player not being very good, or something like. He was surprised that she got there, or something like that. And
and there was one recently. What?
Yeah, Obama said like, "Don't, you're an idiot." Like while he was commentating.
Oh
he
yeah.
got
I remember this. Yeah. I thought you meant Obama as in the president for a second. I was like, what?
Sorry.
You meant Margin Obama.
I mean, that's a way better story. If Obama just went to Japan and went, that would have been sick if he just turned someone off the mic. Yeah, Margin Obama from Japan. He basically cut it and said like, "Get off, just stop talking, get off the mic." To me, I think it was a bit unfair on the guy getting turfed because of, I'll say, the culture of it being okay. Like, people say these sort of things. You see the chat, no one says, "Oh, someone said something sexist in the chat, shut the chat."
Yeah.
When Spooky tried to do sub-only, everyone went mental. Like, people lost their minds for a sub-only chat. And his idea was to cut out the nonsense. It's like, look, if you want to talk shit, you're going to have to pay me to talk shit.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair enough. But obviously,
but
that
you know
chat
what?
doesn't
Like,
that, so.
well, on the flip side of all of this being the case, right, a lot of people that play games, and this is where my compassionate side kind of comes out. A lot of people play games. Maybe they haven't had that much contact with women. It's quite like they're in very like male-dominated environments, and maybe I'm happy to give people a chance to grow and develop and whatnot. So maybe this is where we talk about someone like Chris G.
Yeah.
Has he grown and developed? Like, yeah. I'm very happy to give someone that chance, that opportunity. But if you continually put others down or refuse to acknowledge, like, and face up to what you've done, then I think that's when you have to start being like, hold up, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I agree. There's certain people that do things like that and they actually think it's okay. Like, legit think it's okay. They might say sorry, but they don't think that they should. And they just do it just to keep the peace. Those people, they need their heads rewiring, to be fair. Like,
yeah, and I think maybe people will disagree. I'd be interested to hear what the chat say, but I think Chris G is one of those people. I think so. For anyone that doesn't know, basically a couple of years ago, and some people have been saying it's 5 years ago, 7 years ago. It's not. It was when I was just about joining the scene that this started to kick off. It was no more than like 3 years ago maximum, but I'm pretty sure it was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Basically, he was chatting to someone on Facebook and was wiling out and basically said that 99% of the black women that he knows in the fighting game community are ratchet. They message him for sex. Then they can't even do dragon punches. They don't like to focus on the game. They're just ratchet. They're just trying to sleep with people.
Pro hose.
Yeah, basically. And he reinforced that opinion when people challenged him. He was like, no, I'm just telling it how it is. Black girls are ratchet. They don't care about the games, blah, 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 blah.
Thread was massive.
That Facebook thread was wild.
Yeah, it was wild. It was bananas. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I actually couldn't.
Now, I'm telling you something. I'm trying to get good. I ain't here for no e-dick. I ain't interested. I got my shit on lock. I'm not interested. I want to know about frames. I want to know about fucking like how to win. That's what I'm interested in. But anyway, forget that. So he apologized, but it was a complete non-apology. It was to save face. And now, fast forward a few years later, he's been invited to the NRS. Well, he was invited to the MK11 Summit of Power, and it caused a whole ruckus. And Lamia, who's one of the FGC, NRS sirens, I think she's sponsored by NASA as a streamer and a commentator.
Okay.
She raised the whole Chris G stuff again and was like, look, you know, we're trying to get better on the question of women. Like, why is this guy representing us at such a big and like prestigious event such as Summit of Power? And yeah, it all kicked off from there.
Yeah. Do you... I guess it's more what you think than how I feel. Because do you accept the apology? Because obviously the comment was aimed at you. Whether he wants to admit it or not, the comment was aimed at you. And I believe, even if you thought you was the 1% that he wasn't aiming at, the 99% that he was, do you accept the apology from
I'm happy to accept apologies generally, but the thing is, I think his was disingenuous, and I don't think he's even taken time to reevaluate what he said.
actually get to know black women in the scene. I think, and this is complete speculation. We don't know the guy. Do you know what I mean? We can only go by what's online and what we see. But I don't think he's changed his view. I just think you have to, when you say something as stupid as that, you have to apologize if you want to keep your sponsors and you want to keep people happy. And I think that's what he did, personally. Does that mean that he shouldn't like be involved in shit? No, I don't believe that at all. But I think there is a question there about inviting him to the you know, something that's meant to like represent the NRS community. When you've got players like Infinity, who he like basically directly cussed for no reason other than she's a black woman.
Yeah.
And she's been repping the scene for like a good couple of years, has been placing well. Like, it's a good look to give those sorts of players a chance as opposed to people like Chris G, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But yeah.
See, I'll just put my 2 cents in there. I believed his apology was sincere. I think it was clouded by frustration because I was gonna obviously ask you like, what could he do for you to show that he's sorry? And you said like interacting with the people basically like he was cussing, basically.
Yeah.
I honestly think there's, for everyone as a majority, as the collective, I don't think there's anything he could have done to apologize for what he said. I think that is the case, and that's why his apology didn't seem real, because I think it looked at face value that he was saying sorry just to shut people up. I thought he was saying sorry because it's like, you're not going to believe me anyway.
Do you know what apology I would accept? And this is not the apology that he gave.
Mm-hmm.
If he had said, I'm sorry, not because I said a stupid thing, I'm sorry for being racist, I'm sorry for being sexist, I don't believe these things, but that is what I said at the time.
Yeah, he definitely
I would accept that apology because it's actually taking responsibility. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just a fluffy, ooh, I'm sorry, okay, what are you sorry for?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, you're right, because he didn't do that. He said, I'm sorry, I did this ages ago, I've changed. That's what he was saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, to me, I'm really big on giving people chances, but I believe I'm a strong believer in accountability, and you have to own up to what you've done. And if you don't own up to what you've done, this is the same with people like Infiltration as well. That's a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm.
I am, and people would disagree with me. A lot of like women in the FGC will disagree with me, but I believe in giving people opportunities to progress. But if you can't even accept what you've done, then there's no room for progression.
I think that's fair enough. I think that's fair enough. I think that he didn't do himself any favours. Well, both people, Infiltration or Chris G. I didn't think he did himself any favours. The way he went about it was very aggressive. For an apology, he was super aggressive.
Yeah.
And like
I'm sorry!
Yeah, like, that's not how you're sorry. You don't shout at people that you're sorry. Like, I get. That's why I was saying I saw it from the frustration aspect. Like, he was annoyed because no one was accepting the apology, and he knew that some people were just not going to allow it. Like, because what he said was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I know he was saying, oh, there was the situation wasn't as clear cut as Facebook made out, blah, blah, blah. To me, there's literally no reason to say that. There's no reason to go out of your way and leave a post about that. There is none. And I know he got someone on the on these like Discords to talk to the stream and say like, oh, he's not like that. And it's just like, you have to say sorry and maybe do what I kind of did. Just like ask what would make you believe that I'm sorry. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to be like, sorry on the stream, let's move on. This happened ages ago. He was obviously more annoyed that got brought up to like bring him down sort of thing for the whole like Tweedy thing. So he got obviously offered this opportunity and people were like, don't offer this guy this because he done this how many years ago. And I think that's what made him more annoyed than people not accepting his apology. And he just went the wrong way about it, not justifying it at all, because that was the dumbest thing anyone could ever say ever. Like, it was so stupid. For sure. That didn't even touch just the sexist base, it was racist as well. Like, why even do that? There's so no need to do that. I think, like, sort of like moving on, what do you, I guess it's a very vague question. I think I have to come up with an example. What is offensive to you? like in regards to what guys do in the FGC? What do you, because even with the beginning of this podcast, and the title, it's got girls, and people were saying like, you know, women or females better. What is like is there like I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it.
For me, I don't really get offended, and like I find the word offense quite frustrating because some people don't get offended by things, but what does frustrate me is the barriers that people like willingly or unwillingly create that prevent women from participating. That's mainly the thing for me. Like, I can laugh, I can joke. For me, it's not really about offense or being offended. I can get offended. Anyone can get offended. But for me, it's more like, just be mindful of, are you doing things that could potentially make someone feel too uncomfortable to participate? Are you making someone feel anxious or nervous when you don't need to do that? So for example, if I'm here to play games, like, okay, so everyone, like, human relationships are fine. Like, you can try and flirt with someone, that's fine. But keep it to outside the gaming venue. If someone's trying to concentrate on, you know, gaming, I don't want to have to deal with rejecting someone. Because that's like a whole other level of anxiety that you have to deal with, and nervousness. Not only are you like the only female player in the room, so you've got that element of trying to prove yourself, because you don't want to like go 0-2, because then everyone will be like, see, told you, women can't play games. So you already got that on your mind, and then you have to deal with like trying to kindly just tell someone to, you know, chill out a little bit.
Yeah, you're not interested.
So just being mindful, you know, of those things. Another thing would be like, and these are the things that people don't even realize per se, you know, the kind of innocent things. Another thing is like, if you're in a group of people and this goes for anyone, female or not, but if you're in a group of people, like, try not to leave people out. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're in and this can be a particular thing with a group of lads, because lads get laddie. And anyone that's not in that laddie clique can be easily left out. And again, shout outs to the Soul Calibur community, because they're really good at not doing this. But like, try to just be mindful of that social environment that you're creating, because that's the kind of thing that someone will go to an event once, like, you know, it'll be like, oh, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, and then they don't turn up again, because do you know what I mean? Like, little things like that do make like quite a huge difference. But in terms of like levels of offense, that's something that friends determine between each other. Like, your one white friend will know not to call you the N-word, but your black mate, that might be something that exists between you two, because that's your relationship. And I think that's a really just don't be a dick. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
That's how I want to address things, but like, and it comes back to like people's dick levels are higher than others. Like, some people I've seen maybe not shouting at. This is a good point. I don't know if you find this offensive. There's a guy called Oh My God It's Andre. He plays Marvel, and
I know him. Yeah.
Right. He had it was either a top or a hat, and it says something like, "I like eating ass."
I don't find that offensive at all. Maybe he does like eating ass. Like, allow him.
But going from what you're saying, like keeping it in, I mean, it's a piece of clothing first of all, but obviously clothing is someone's identity. And I was like I laughed because I was in the stream chat, and you kind of just adopt that mentality, and I was just like, why would you wear that other than to be different? To you know, was it to cause offense? I don't know. I don't know if that would be to me. That would be more offensive than calling a woman a girl in the FGC.
That he says it? I don't know. What's offensive about that? Maybe I'm just like, I don't know, a weirdo.
And that's what I mean.
If he wants to say he eats ass, then
it wasn't really publicly known. I guess, sure, whatever. So that, to me, it's just like, I'm not sure. This is not a defense again, where guys know where the barriers are. I totally agree with what you're saying about the whole, just don't be a dick and be courteous to people, no matter sex, gender, whatever. You're shout out to the DVZ heads, but that WhatsApp group is terrible. It's really bad. Like,
do you know
I don't get involved when they do all that girl talk stuff. Like, I don't get involved because I'm it's gonna sound like I'm just saying this because of the podcast, but I think RedBean was in this chat. Why would you say that? Like,
well, it's a complex one. I can get involved with that because I have a girlfriend, so like I can get involved in those conversations. But understandably, for other people, other women, that might be a completely like inaccessible topic of conversation. Most of my close friends growing up, were guys. That's just how it was. So I can entertain those conversations, but other people might not be able to. So
yeah. I think it's like, not to me. It's more of like, you get that sort of, you feel uncomfortable feeling, and I feel uncomfortable. I know like no one's gonna see it. Well, hopefully no one who would take offense to it is gonna see it. And because it's in a WhatsApp chat where everyone's invited, I can't like step up and go, you can't say that, because it's like, well, it's an invite. Like, that's the whole point of an invite, that you can say things behind closed doors and stuff like that. I wouldn't say anything behind someone's back that I wouldn't say to their face. That's just how I am.
Yeah, and I guess there is a question of like, all right, this chat's meant to be like getting better at the game, so why has it become about?
Exactly.
There is that question, definitely.
And then I think that's why the UK's whack at DBZ. Because they're all about base Vegeta memes. This is what your girl sees and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my god, please stop. Like, stop. You're all whack at the game. Like, if you want to talk about it, make another group. Make a not suitable for work group and then throw all those memes. Don't put me. I don't want to be involved in that. I'm in that chat about the game. And I know, like you were saying before, about the lad culture and all that sort of stuff. And there's been loads of people that I spoke to like, oh, I don't like events, or I don't go to them anymore, I just play online, and it's because of how people act. I feel that's one of the biggest things holding like the FGC back about getting big.
What, in the UK?
In general. I think in general.
Oh.
Because if you look at it face value, fighting games are like one of the easiest games to understand. Before you learn about frame data and stuff, you can understand the rules of fighting games. It's like, that person's got a health bar, so is that person. The one that gets depleted first loses. That's it. Like, anyone can watch a fighting game and know what's going on. They won't know the details, but they can see they can see the hype, they can see the bad play, blah blah blah. They can see that visually without having to go to Oxford. But you've got stuff like StarCraft you need a PhD in, but you get all genders, all races, like, behind it. And I think it does come back to how they're greeted when they come to the front door of that genre or that game or whatever. The fighting game
I agree. This is maybe I can take two examples from two communities. The NRS community back in the MKX days when PND was set up, and like a few huge community members came from that PND group. Foxy Grandpa, the Neil brothers, Strikey, and others, and they got really good and were able to compete at the international level because they had like a solid group that was about getting good at the game, from what I understand, from like stories I've heard and stuff. That's what that group was about. And similarly with like the Soul Calibur community, you've got a group of people who like grind, they welcome new players, like they're about getting good as opposed to like just all the memeing and the bantering. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's the difference.
It's a weird one because you can't like enforce. Well, I don't believe you should like enforce how people think and feel. Even if you disagree with it, you think it's wrong, whatever. You can't tell people what to do in a public space. That's how I see it. So there's been other topics with the FGC where like, even if something as simple as some of the people in the chat will know because I've spoke about this before, people getting banned for making too much noise. It's like, I don't think you should be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't think you should be able to do that either. I think that's whack.
Just hold that.
I've just got a loud voice as well, so like what? What happens to me?
Exactly. If you're cheering on the person you want to win, whether it be your boy or your girl or your woman, whatever, and you're getting hyped and they're saying, no, don't be hyped. It's like, what? Is this golf? Like, what, I can't make noise now? How stupid is that? That person playing needs to learn to block it out. Get some headphones.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is what a lot of people say, though. A lot of people, like, there's the flip side. I think there are some things that you just have to try and get used to. But people say, oh, you know, trolling, people making jokes about you just have to get used to it. That's what the banter's about. And I don't know, I think there's always a line. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what is that line for you, like, personally? Do you think it stops when it comes to things that are out of your control, like your race or stuff like that? When you're getting trolled about something you can't change, do you think that's crossing the line?
Yeah, I think, like, when you're getting trolled by someone who's not a friend,
okay.
Like, with relation to something that, how should I put it, that causes, like, actual discrimination in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, your race, your religion, whatever, your sexuality, or
something outside the game.
Yeah. When it's stuff like that, then I'm like, all right, you need to chill. We're not cool like that.
That's fair. It's fair, but again, it's one of those things you can't really enforce in it, other than mob mentality.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks, because you're going to fight the problem, you have to cause another problem. That's kind of what it comes down to. And with, like, the day and age we are now, it's a lot of, like, there's a lot of snowflakes out there, and everyone's got to be really PC about what they say. And the people that aren't PC anymore are, like, everyone's snitching at them. There's fingers being pointed at them, and they can't avoid it.
Yeah.
And they kind of get categorized in really crazy stuff, like the infiltration stuff. Like, that always just, like, one side of the fence. There's not, like, any extremities. It's just like, oh, you're sexist. It doesn't matter what. Not like any sort of sexism is good, but it's like, oh.
But I think there are loads of different kinds of this snowflake. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's the people who want you to be PC, like, 24/7, and then there's the people who get mad at others for just being themselves. So, like, the Sonic Fox I'm gay thing. You want to talk about snowflake? People getting triggered because one guy on his own personal Twitter just said I'm gay loads of times. Like, how does that upset you? I'm sorry, but I don't understand that.
I mean, I didn't see that. I mean, that wouldn't annoy me. I think it's Twitter. You can say whatever the hell you want. Like, no one can say shit. If he wants to type for 365 days that he's gay every day, what can you do about it? You could block him on Twitter, then you don't have to see it. Like, that's.
But that's for me, like, the double standard. People will be like, "Oh, you're too PC, can't say anything these days." And then one guy is like, "I'm gay," and the whole of the Twitter sphere is like, "Oh my god, why are you saying this all the time?" Do you know what I mean? And they're the same people that will be like, "Oh, these snowflakes," and they can't just let someone be themselves.
Yeah.
But that's just my beef.
I get it. I don't know. It sounds like I just want a world of anarchy. Just people just do what the fuck they want, and everyone else has to deal with it. And to a degree, it's like that. To a degree, like this is why I asked you the question, because I don't know where the line is. Because I've got a better question. So, on your side of this fence, right? When you're playing games, do you feel like you're playing for women, or are you playing as I am RedBean, I am a player, I'm trying to win? Or do you feel like, oh, if I don't win, people are gonna think women can't play games, not you? Just women in general.
I think, unfortunately, definitely the second one.
The women.
Like, I think it's one of I have, like, I do lots of training in my real job, like talking in front of crowds. I've spoken in front of a crowd of thousands of people before without getting nervous. But when I get on that setup, the nerves, like, properly kick in, and part of it is I personally feel a pressure to, like, not show myself up. Do you know what I mean? Like, going 0-2 is my worst nightmare, because for me that just will confirm to other people that, oh, women are shit at games.
Right.
So if I go 0-2, I might as well just give up. And that's it's actually, like, a really, really damaging attitude, because it means that you can't actually
focus on the learning process, which is what you want to focus on. You're just focused on not embarrassing yourself.
Oh yeah, no, pressure is like the number one reason people can't get better, because all they're thinking about is winning, not how to improve, just how to win.
Yeah, exactly.
There's very little room to grow when your main focus is not to be, not to let people down, rather than you having to grow like at your pace, thinking, oh, I can't. Either you don't go back because you don't want to embarrass yourself, or every time you go, you have that pressure that you're talking about, and you can't perform to the best of your ability.
Yeah,
because you've got you've got a whole gender on your shoulder. even get
that's
women
the thing, and like
it must be really hard.
It's not a pressure that anyone puts on you like deliberately, but with all the comments like, oh, women are shit at games, like you feel that need because of your own ego. You're like, I know we're not shit at games. I know we can compete at the highest level. So now I have to prove it. And like it's that whole other layer of nervousness when you just want to be nervous about just playing the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to be nervous about being on like.
You don't want to also be nervous about. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to also be nervous about. Oh, holy shit! Fuck's sake! I'm gonna embarrass myself.
Yeah, like that's something. Well, I'd say a lot of guys won't experience. They won't have to. Even with like race, I don't think there's many races that feel that kind of pressure. Like a black person doesn't think, oh, I've got to play so black people don't look that they're rubbish at games. Like I'm pretty sure no one thinks that. And obviously guys don't do it for guys. Do you think...
Yeah. The only thing I can probably liken it to is, let's say that you're a really good player and then you've just like had the shittest year and you just need to prove yourself. Like that's probably how people will be able to relate. Like that anxiety that you'll feel about, oh fuck, like I used to be sick and now I'm crap. Now everyone thinks I'm just going to go O2. I'm not going to name names, but there are like players that, have won several EVOs and they've been lackluster the past few years. So I can imagine going into matches, they feel like they have to prove themselves.
Yeah, they've got like a standard to uphold.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, you're being generous because I wouldn't even say that's even close. Like, you're going into your first match thinking, I'm playing for half the population on the earth. Like, I can't... Unless there's going to be a future tournament where we're playing aliens, and there's a human trying to play for all the humans. Like, I don't think there's anything even close to that sort of pressure.
But I think ultimately you do like just have to try and get over that, because everyone goes into... Everyone's got their own anxieties for different reasons. Like some people might be scared and like or feel worried in social situations. Some people it's their first tournament. Some people have gone O2 the last two tournaments and don't want to go O2 this tournament. So like everyone's going into that environment with that extra like sense of dread. But yeah, that's just where women's dread comes from, like half the time.
Yeah, no, I think that is I think that's the point that guys probably don't think about. I don't think they realise that when me personally, I don't feel pressure anymore. I think I felt pressure like a couple of tournaments and I thought it's just a game. I don't care. Like I actually don't care. When I was playing all the other games bar Guilty Gear, I never felt pressure. When I was playing Guilty Gear, I felt pressure at home practicing. That's when I felt pressure. When I went to tournaments, I didn't feel any pressure. That's why I've always played without headsets and stuff like that. Because I played to entertain, like myself and others. So I kind of feed on reactions, whether it's good or bad. But I know that that's quite rare. Like not many people are like that. They need to focus. I play better when people are reacting to me. Like I said, whether it's good or bad, I get better like that. If I'm playing there in solitude and silence, I'll be whack. I'll be absolutely whack. And that's why I don't play team games. Like, obviously, there's way more money and stuff like Dota and stuff like that. I could learn that game. But I know that I would feel the pressure of, like, if I don't perform, these other 4 people or 5 people are going to lose out because of my mistakes. And I don't want that. Like, I hate that sort of feeling. So, I mean, shout out to them players. I can't. I've got too much pride to let other people down and feel like it was my fault. I don't want that. In fighting games,
if it's yourself, then it's fine. Then, exactly. So I completely agree.
If I ever thought I was playing for people other than myself, I wouldn't be able to play properly. Like, even, it's a really like weak example, but if I came into Dragon Ball Z thinking, you know what, there's no Guilty Gear heads playing this game that I know, and this is true. I don't go into matches going, I'm doing this for all the Guilty Gear players. Like, I wouldn't be able to play properly if I thought like that. And that's a way smaller like group of people than a gender. It's like I said, I don't think many guys would see or think that that's what a lot of women are going through when they go to their first pool match, and you're thinking, man, I don't want to get scrambled out, like I don't want to get robbed and like drown in pools, and you're thinking like, I can't afford to lose because this is just going to enforce the stereotype, which is wrong. That's
exactly,
already there.
And the frustrating thing is, like, out of all the tournaments I've entered, I think I've gone 0-2 twice. So the majority of times I've not gone 0-2, and but it's just reinforcing that message in your own head. You have to like beat your own head before you can beat anyone else.
What was your reaction when you didn't go into?
When I did not go 0-2.
No, sorry, yeah. What was your reaction to the people you beat to not go into?
Yo, not gonna lie, right? The ego boost is incredible. because you know
That's
what's
fair.
going on in their head. You know what's going on in their heads.
Yeah,
They're like, oh shit, I lost to this girl. So then you're like, damn.
Is it awkward?
That's the plus side. I don't find it awkward at all. I revel in it.
Right. Fair enough.
That's the only plus side. That is the only plus side. Like, I used to do it with Injustice 2 as well. I'm letting the cat out of the bag now. But when people would troll me, because in Injustice and NRS games, you can talk to people over the mic when you're playing them on like ranked and casual match mode. So when people would troll me while I'm playing, when I beat them, I turn my mic on right at the end of the match.
Wow.
So they can hear that they got beat by a woman. And I let them eat that. I let them hold that. So like that's my own little demons. I'm not gonna lie, I do that, and I do enjoy I enjoy winning anyways. That's the bottom line. I enjoy winning.
Yeah, that's normal.
But
that's normal.
when you just know someone like approaches the match with an attitude like, oh, this is gonna be free, and then you beat them.
Yeah.
Love that.
I've done that many a times, and I've had that good slice of humble pie. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've had that.
Yeah.
I've had that loads of times, and then that's why I've got the mentality that everyone is capable of anything, especially in tournament and pools, and when you're, especially a game like Dragon Ball, when it's first two, like anyone can take anything. And,
yeah.
In previous games where the skill gap was a bit bigger, I could see someone playing, or from the first 10 seconds do something that's unsafe and go, you don't have to play the game. This is going to be free. And I used to just go on from that. I don't know if it was a bad mentality to have. It was bad, obviously, when it backfired and I lost. And I thought, wow, if I would have played properly or didn't assume that this person was bad, I would have played differently and maybe I could have won. But that's all the hindsight, coming into play. Do you think you could use the kind of the story you told of like turning your mic and getting the high off of basically embarrassing someone, because you know what they're thinking? They're embarrassed, but they've got no reason to be embarrassed, so you kind of rub it in.
Yeah, essentially.
Which is fine. That's like I'm all game. But do you think you could use that, or women could use that more when it comes?
What, as in try to intentionally make people salty?
Yeah, like instead of like we said about you taking all that pressure, throw the pressure back onto them, because the pressure you're feeling about fighting for girls, the guys could say, well, if I lose to a girl, all these guys are going to troll me, so they're under pressure as well. I would like to say most guys don't think that, but they probably do, because they're idiots. Like I don't look at my opponent's chest. I don't do that. Like it makes no difference to me. Like I want to see the first 10 seconds of their play. Then I know what kind of player they are, not like what kind of gender or whatever. Like that's stupid. I don't look at someone's skin color and go, they're going to be super aggressive. They're only going to match 5-0. Like that's dumb. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe using that kind of mentality, like you've got two reasons to win. You've got a reason to win because you want to win, and you've got a reason to win to make them look stupid.
Yeah, and I guess the thing that I'm all down for self-reflection, and I know that kind of like mentality that I have of oh yeah, you lost to a girl, that just reinforces the same dynamic, right? And like I'm very, very happy to admit that and like reflect on that, blah blah blah. But in the world that we live in, we have to take our W's where we get our W's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I think like there is I think that like when Infinity beat Slayer, the big part of the hype was Slayer was chatting shit and lost to a woman, and that was what was hype, the fact that he lost to a really great female player. And I think that's fine to like enjoy, as long as that doesn't become your whole persona. Do you know what I mean? And as long as that doesn't become the whole reason why you compete.
Yeah.
I only get like that when someone disrespects me, or when someone underestimates me, or when you can tell that someone doesn't take you seriously. That's when that win feels particularly like good. But then at the same time, when you lose to that kind of person, it also feels really bad.
yeah, it must feel. Yeah, it's twofold, isn't it? It's the double or nothing.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
feel really good or you feel really bad. I'm gonna throw a question at. It's gonna sound like I'm trying to trip you up, but I'm not. I'm being legit. So, with the sort of mentality you was explaining when going into matches, do you think some of the problem could be that women they feel like they're the underdog, basically, because your mentality going into the matches that I have to prove that their stereotype is wrong, and then you obviously get that high when you do win. That's kind of like an underdog. Like, I'm not expected to win. Do
you know what? No, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's really damaging, actually. I can think back to my last tournament, which was Weapon Master. And I won my first match, got put into losers by Milo's, and he's just a really solid player. But my first losers match, I played this guy. I beat him the first game. He won the second game. And then we played the final game, and it was 2-2 the rounds, and I just choked. Choked. Like, I can't look back and be like, oh, he was definitely the better player, because it was literally like a game apiece, the literal final round, and I just did stupid shit that I would never do. Sat at home, just chilling, playing by myself, but like I just built it up. I built that round up so much. I was like, I have to win this round. I have to win this game. You know, I want to get 13th place. I'm sick of not making top 16. Blah 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 blah. Right. And like all those thoughts swimming in your head, it completely messes you up. Like totally.
Yeah,
It is really negative. It's not actually a good thing to like go into matches feeling you're the underdog. And I think you have to just get over it as a woman player. Like, as hard as it is, you have to just work and work and work to just get over that, because it's gonna hold us back at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I definitely don't. This, in my head canon, this would be the solution: is if women that went into matches didn't look at themselves as the underdog and didn't react like they're the underdog. So there's some examples of, like, let's say Hook Gang God. So Hook Gang God played fighting games before he played Dragon Ball Z. He played like Persona, he played Guilty Gear, and he just but he's mainly online. But when he went to next level battle circuit, all of his boys were saying, "Yo, this guy's good. This guy is gonna body everyone." And Hook Gang God believed that, even though he's not played any of these people.
Yeah.
And because he didn't go in feeling with the underdog, he probably felt there was less pressure. So more people, the people that he was playing, respected him. And I know respect should be neutral anyway, especially when it comes to fighting games. But maybe if women didn't feel like they were the underdog and they were proving a point, and, you know, they took their losses and wins like everyone, like all the other guys do, maybe guys won't look at women like that. Because the whole reason guys don't like losing to girls is because it's like, they shouldn't beat me. On paper, they're meant to be worse at fighting games than us. I mean, that's obviously my headcanon. I don't think guys are thinking that deep into stuff. They're just gonna see a female think that guys think about seeing anyone in that they can beat them. Like
That's the difference in confidence. Like mediocre dudes like have lots of confidence.
Yeah.
And
Very
really
mediocre,
amazing women are just like, oh, I'm so shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It sucks because it's unneeded pressure. I get why you're doing it, or women in general, and it's like, wow, you could probably play a lot more cleaner if you didn't have that, because that's what pressure kind of affects. It affects your not like your reactions, but your thought process. It's like you double take everything you do. You like, normally my body's telling me to do this action, but should I? And in that split second when you hesitate is when you get bodied.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, with that point, I guess we could go into people. Oh, actually, let me touch upon the XO Academy.
Oh yeah, go for
thing.
it. Yeah.
Do you want to explain it? Because obviously you'll be way better coming from you than me.
Yeah, so the XO Academy is a new initiative set up by Persia, who is a US-based fighting game player. I think she played Marvel, didn't she? She was like really big in the Marvel community.
Big Marvel head, yeah. She was. She done the the curly tour. So she done like the tour.
Yeah. And she's a player and commentator, and she set up the XO Academy, and XO is basically like meant to stand for women, cis women, and trans women. Like XX is, female chromosomes, and like the XO is meant to be its X, but also
I am mad.
Trans women as well. Yeah, it's pretty cool actually.
I thought it just meant hugs and kisses.
No, no.
Wow.
It's meant to be inclusive. That was the idea. So she set up the.
So glad I got you to explain this and not me, because I would have looked like a complete egg if I would have said that. Hugs and Kisses Academy, yeah.
Yeah, not quite. So the idea behind the academy is she's got loads of really strong fighting game players like The Kill Sage and like top players from Street Fighter and other communities. And they are I think they're getting paid, as far as I understand, they're getting paid. They're raising money for something, and I'm assuming it's to pay the teachers. So, but don't quote me on that. I'm just assuming. But essentially, like, they do application process where if you're a woman player, you can apply to be mentored by one of these coaches, one of these top player coaches, and they basically dedicate a certain amount of time over a particular season to coach you in a game. And the idea is you're meant to then attend tournaments and see results. So you're meant to see improvements, hopefully, on your results. And it's kind of meant to be a opportunity to make women players have that, opportunity to play top players.
Cool. I'm gonna ask a couple of questions about it. If you don't know, I know you aren't like an ambassador for him. Do you know if it's like strictly no guys? I'm guessing it's strictly no guys.
As far as I know, it's strictly no guys. Yeah.
When it comes to, I didn't know it was kind of aimed for transgender either. I didn't. Like I said, hugs and kisses. That's all I saw. So, do you know if it's for girls that have become guys? Can they apply, or is it only the other way around? Like,
I don't even think they've probably like addressed those questions as like deeply themselves.
Right.
So I have no idea about that, but yeah.
No, that's cool.
That's
cool. I'm going to assume it's guys turning to girls. That's my assumption. I don't know. Don't at me. Don't at Persia, because it's just, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. I'll probably look into it because the thing I had with the whole EXO thing, we spoke about this off stream, and I was just like, yeah. So there's bits of it that I think I know that you didn't mention. So yeah, they've got female players at the moment. They've got Romanova.
Yeah, and a Street Fighter player as well. What's her name?
Yeah, I can't remember the Street Fighter player's name.
Oh, I follow her on Twitter.
I can't remember. Damn it.
It's not Space Cake. No, it's not her. Oh yeah, no, it is. It is Space Cake.
Oh, it's Spacegate. Okay, cool. So they're like the two main ones she's pushing at the moment. I know they've basically got a stream for a certain amount of time. It's sort of like a sponsorship. So they've got a stream. I know Persia was saying that she would give them equipment if they haven't got it. They have to attend a local to be a part of the scheme. And I believe they get paid to go to the next major tournament. And and it goes back to what you said about they have to show improvement. You touch upon they've got this Kill Sage teacher DBZ. I believe it's Dominion teaching Street Fighter.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I think Godpress is in the chat, and he's basically going on what I was thinking. Because you've got guys teaching girls, as it's like face value, that's what it looks like. How to be good at games, as good as guys. The program to me seemed like it was girls are good enough to compete with guys. But because you're using the skills of like males, isn't that kind of contradictory? Like, in your opinion, obviously this isn't your academy. Me personally, that's what I felt. I honestly think that girls are as good as guys. Like, it comes down to how dedicated and putting your mind to something, right?
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with genders, nothing at all. But when your scheme is to, empower girls and to prove the point that girls are as good as guys, don't get guys to teach. Like...
Yeah, I guess the whole scheme is, like, I guess its main focus is to give women in the FGC an opportunity to improve. Mm-hmm. And what a lot of people don't realize is these sorts of informal academies happen amongst, like, within lad culture as it is, like who gets invited to whose house, who gets invited back to the hotel for for sessions, who do you know what I mean? Like, these things happen informally, and at the moment, like, increasingly it's getting better and better, but like historically, who would get games with top players would be quite exclusive, and it would usually like exclude women players. Like, that's just the brutal reality. You've got your crew, you've got your clique, you've got your squad, and you got your brotherhood, your team, and typically those things wouldn't include women.
Okay.
So I think it's just doing the same thing, but in a very formal way, if that makes sense. So it looks like it's completely different, it's contradictory, but actually it's the same thing that everyone else does, but it's just formalized. I think that's the first thing. But the second thing is, like, all right, so in an ideal world, you would not want to even have that kind of scheme, because everyone would just all be equal. Everyone would have the same opportunities. They'd be invited to the same sessions. It wouldn't be an issue. But unfortunately, that is not the world that we currently live in. Mm-hmm. And so you have to ask, okay, well, what can we do to boost these people up, to like give them access to things that otherwise they wouldn't get access to? Do you know what I mean? Like, I even think of it as a confidence issue. When I was at Versus Fighting, like, loads of the Dragon Ball people had the confidence to just go up to Kill Sage and be like, let's play a long set.
Yeah.
But I was absolutely terrified to do that, and I'm sure there were other people who are terrified as well, mm-hmm. but like, who were like men and whatnot. But it's much more of a common thing for women to just not have the confidence to do those sorts of things that actually get you those long sets with top players. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's these little things that you don't see that you have to think about.
I guess like the main difference in how you see it and how I see it is that, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, and I think this is cool the way I'm putting it, is that you're using the guys as a tool to get better.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're not saying it's...
But it's just people helping each other out, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, at heart, that's what it is.
I think because as soon as I saw the scheme, I was just like, okay, that's cool. Persia's, because she's in a place of power, let's just say. I know it's
she is.
Not that deep, but yeah, she's got influence, say it that way. She's got influence. So she can reach out to the top players. When I saw that she was using guys as like, I didn't see it before like that, but she was using guys to get girls at a guy's level. That's how I saw it, and I was like, no, you don't need to do that. Like, girls don't need to get taught by specifically guys. Maybe it's just a circumstance where the best player that got back to her was a guy. It could have been that.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what it is. Like, the reality is that if you think of any scene at all, out of the, I don't know, what would you say, like 100 or so top players that will make top 100 in Evo, there's like 1 or 2 women. Do you know what I mean? And they're usually like quite popular and quite famous and really well liked. But there's really realistically like 1 or 2 of them. That's 1%, 2%. The majority of the top players are guys, so the majority of their applications for mentors would have been guys anyway. Yeah, so there's that sort of like statistical thing.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. It would be way harder for it to get a top level female player to teach him than a guy. It's just way easier. Yeah. That makes total sense. And obviously those guys are local to her as well. Like they're from the same
exactly.
area. So yeah, I just got clickbaited basically. I saw the title and was like, oh my god, it has to be all girls then. if guys can't apply to the scheme, then don't have guys teaching. That's how I saw it. I kind of still believe that girls don't need to get, like, when I was playing Marvel, I followed a Trish player and she was a girl. And I used to follow her and I was like, I didn't think, oh, it's a girl playing Trish. I was like, it's a Trish player that's really good. I know I'm obviously clearly abnormal. And normal guys don't think like that. Probably. I
think loads do, but it's just that I can't really say whether it's a minority or a majority or 50-50 because I just don't have those stats and figures. But there is a vocal group of people who still have those views about women, and so you have to have things in place to sort of counteract that. It's not good enough to just be like, oh, let's just leave it and we're fine. We've got good attitudes, so that's all right. Like, I think it's good to have things like that in place to help boost people up. That's just my 2 cents anyways.
No, that's fair. Like, Godly brings up a point. That's what I was trying to explain. Like, she was saying it doesn't have to be a case of as good as a guy. That was my gut reaction, is like, don't get a guy to teach a girl how to play, because that girl's just going to play like how she's taught by the guy. Like, I would like it if a girl just learned her own way. Shout out to Darren, because Darren is a really vague example. Most people won't know him, but he came to WSO and he played Dragon Ball Z like I've never ever seen anyone else play. He played super lame. He didn't do real combos. He didn't do real Oki, but it worked. So it basically backfired in my face. Like, it's not real, but it's working. So clearly it's real. And it's nothing to do with gender. If I see someone playing like someone else, it's an imitation, and I'm like, maybe girls have if girls' brains are different than guys, let them play their way. Let them play the way that their brain is telling them to play. That's how I would like it. I would like Persia to be like, look, just win your way. Like, if you have to play guys to get better, to, develop your own playstyle, cool. But it was the whole, they're going to train them. I was like, no, I don't want Roman over to play like the Kill Sage. I don't want that. I want Roman over to play how she plays.
Yeah, and I think, like, I don't know, I think of someone like Cuddlecore, for example, who is a top Tekken player, one of the top players in the world, really, at the moment, in terms of how she's placing in tournaments. Yeah. And, no one... The thing is, like, for some people, it all happens informally. So for some people, a guy will sit you down and teach you how to play the game, but it's not done through an academy, so it just looks different. But it's the exact same thing. And... yeah, I guess looking at her situation, she regularly plays top players to keep up. And I guess it's a question of access, like who has access to those players and who doesn't.
Yeah.
And often that does determine who gets better, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, totally. It's kind of like it takes a village to bring up a kid in it, and it's kind of like...
yeah, exactly.
There is a few exceptions. Kiba's one of them. I always bring Kiba up because his whole scene was whack, but he was so good he went to America and bodied everyone in America. But no one over here could beat him. But he's, you just get... Shout out to Kiba, I know him. He's a freak of nature, basically. He's just a freak of nature. Like, he was one of the few people that can do that. But normally, people are as good as their environment. So, yeah,
exactly.
Like, if you're not playing good players, you're probably not going to be that good.
So someone's asking, how do you feel about having women-only tournaments? Should it be a thing? I don't agree with women-only tournament. I think just... I just don't see the point, personally.
I second that.
Like, I don't think... I think you should compete with everyone else, but it's like how and the problem is, like, all right, so you've got a whole pool of male players in the FGC, right? Majority of them are whack. And only a few are like prodigies and really good. So part of the issue is like there's already a really small pool of female players. Not all of them can be good. Not all of them will be good. And like already there's going to be like a smaller proportion of people who are going to end up like good at the game. So I don't see why you should like take a group that's already smaller and have their own tournament. Like
the segregation doesn't seem productive at all, does it? Like,
not in that sense. Like I agree with EXO in the sense that like you've actually got an aim of trying to use someone's skills to make women better, so that they can participate on the same level as other people. But having women-only tournaments, like I would not feel victorious if I won a women's only tournament, because I would know that generally speaking the level of competition in that tournament is going to be lower. That's why the tournament would exist in the first place than the other tournament. And I want to be good at a game. I don't want to be like, and this is a big thing that Cuddlecore like gets frustrated with as well, like seeing her, what she puts on Twitter, like people often call her the best female Tekken player in the US. It's like no, she came fourth at the Tekken was it the last chance qualifiers, like or was it even the tour? I'm pretty sure in the Tekken World Tour she came like fourth. That's not the best female player, that's one of the best players, period. And that is very frustrating.
I agree. I think it's a total downplay doing a female only tournament. It also, I mean, it doesn't sit well with me in the name either, like saying female only tournament. It's, I guess it's different than saying like, you know, you get like newbie like or noob tournaments, like people that are new to the game. And you have like, okay, no pros. That I get, but with girls, I think that's not the problem. Isn't that they're not as good as guys? It's that guys don't believe that they can be that good in the first place. It's clearly a dumb stereotype. Like someone who's new to the game isn't going to be good. That's like actual factuals. That's just how it is. But like you're saying, like, and what I was saying right at the beginning about Pakistani winning, like that stigma of their identity being before their title. Or where they came their place in, kind of brings it down a bit. Like, I would rather be known as the fourth best in the world than the best category me here player, the best hitbox player. I'd rather be 100th in the world than the number one hitbox player. Like, I don't know. I don't know if everyone feels like that. It sounds like you do, which is good.
I definitely would. Like, if I ever got to the level that I want to be on, like I would want people to be like, this woman is good, but I wouldn't want people to be like, you're good for a woman. Do you know what I mean? There's a difference. Those two things are very different. That's just my 2 cents though.
That's right.
I definitely agree with you on that one.
Shout out for the question. Drag, was that drag? Yeah, it was drag. I guess we've been doing it for a bit now, so we'll try and get... I think it was only like 2 more points we wanted to talk about. I guess we should talk about recent events. We talked about the Chris G one. I mean, the big one before that I could think of was the Yohozi.
Oh, yeah. And Infiltration was a big one as well.
Yeah, is that... I think that's, like, done with now. I think they kind of, like, just pulled him out, and people kind of...
He's coming back 2020, though.
Is he coming back 2020?
Yeah, that's the idea. I think he's been like banned essentially till 2020. He's been dropped from his what was it, Panda Global? Pretty sure they said till 2020.
Okay.
Someone said till 2020. It was either the Street Fighter Pro Tour, he couldn't participate till 2020, or Panda Global, one of them.
Okay. What? I'm guessing the whole case, you know, said that he did it.
Well, there's several things. So there was the initial people who revealed that there was even a situation on Twitter. And these people said lots of different things. They said that he beat her within an inch of his life. Apparently, I didn't see anyone write that myself, but this is what I've seen people have said they said.
Yeah.
And essentially what Panda Global Panda Global did their own investigation, and Panda Global said that a lot of the accusations on Twitter were not true. However, what was true is that he had to pay a fine for assault against his wife.
Okay.
Now, so then what happens after that is he hosts a stream, and so he's released from Panda Global. He's banned from the tour, etc. from this investigation. So then he does a stream and he says, "Oh well, okay, yes, I did have to pay this fine, and yes, I was charged and found guilty of assault, but the only reason why I was charged was because I was forced to accept the fine from the police officer. Otherwise I would have got taken to court and it would have been way worse."
Right, okay.
So that's what he's arguing. So then a lot of people have been like, swinging on either side. Either they like really believe infiltration's this really great guy and would never do something like that, and he was stitched up by the courts and the police. And then you've got the other side who are like, he's definitely like an abuser, and yeah. So you got those two sides of it.
Okay, I guess we should go with worst case scenario. Let's say he did it. Everything you got accused for, he did. Right. What do you think, or how do you feel about him being able to come back to the FGC? I mean, I use the word back to the FGC like it's a club that you have to register to or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you feel about him being able to, enter tournaments? Like after 2020 CEO combo breaker and all that said, like, look, you know what, you can come back. How would you feel about it?
I think it would really depend on what that person had done in that time to change their behavior, to be honest. Because, yeah, like, I can't speak for anyone else, but I can speak for myself. I have never gotten so mad at someone or not been able to control my emotions or anything like that I, like, hurt or hit someone that I really love. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never done that. And I couldn't understand how you wouldn't be able to control your emotions to not do that. So I feel like if that is something that you're capable of doing, then you've got stuff that you need to work on. And I don't think if you're convicted of something like that, you should just be able to come back willy-nilly without showing that you've actually tried to work on yourself and fix whatever issue that you have. Do you know what I mean? But ultimately, it's really difficult because we're talking about like law and crimes, and we're not cops or police or anything like that, or courts. Do you know what I mean? So it's always a tricky issue. Like, where should your boundary be for people's shit behavior?
I agree. I never thought about the sort of, it goes back to the Chris G thing where you like, look, prove or do something meaningful to show that you're sorry, or you feel bad for what you did. Me, unpopular opinion, have to hold it. Like, I personally think that person shouldn't be held from gaming due to stuff in the outside life. Rickster brings up a point saying outside crime should not restrict you entering a tournament. That is my opinion.
I don't know. It depends what the crime is, because the thing is, like, you could be a danger to other people, and that is like a brutal reality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, all right, yeah, I'll draw a line there. A danger to people, but again, that's a blurry line because there's been, right, say you've got the infiltration thing, and then you've got, I'm gonna say hypothetically, but we all know there's got to be someone doing this. Someone who sells drugs. That's against the law. Or they drink and drive. If someone gets fined for drinking and driving, they're a danger to people, but you're not going to say you can't come to my tournament. Well, I've never heard of someone saying that. You can't come to my tournament.
But you're not going to run someone over in a tournament, but you can assault someone, you can sexually assault someone, you can hit someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, those things do happen. Yeah,
but if you go to the tournament and you lose, you go 0-2, get drunk, and then drive back home and then hit someone, if you wasn't allowed to, that's what I mean. Like, the whole being accused of a crime, like 9 times out of 10 is because it's a danger to someone. That's why it's normally a crime.
Yeah.
If you've been charged with robbery or anything like that, like, obviously the domestic violence is way more, terrible than robbery. I'm not trying to compare the crimes at all, but there's still a case of they're outside of the fighting game sort of group circle. It's not anything to do within fighting games. Like, people have been banned for registering twice. That's not a crime, but it is to fighting game players, and those people get banned for like years.
But then I guess the thing is, like, with a player like Infiltration, we're not just talking about like a rando, and loads of randos have probably done loads of shit that we don't know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we can't start vetting people, but we're talking about someone who is like upheld as a like pillar and representation of the community. Like it or not, that is what Infiltration was.
Yeah.
And if he comes back, he'll still be that because he's got loads of support, loads of followers, and that really does make me uneasy. Like, just imagine, like, I don't know, there's something weird. There's just something I find just a bit perverse. Like, just imagine, a top player who has like raped or beat someone, and they get invited to Summit. They get to be on the interviews. Like, everyone celebrates them. That's just icky. I agree. No. It's just nah.
Before, like, when I probably like a month after knowing you, someone brought up as well the Chris G thing. Chris G, after doing those comments on Facebook, he did not get banned from any tournaments, from what I remember.
Nah. And like, comments are different. Like, I don't think Chris G should be banned from anything. Like, whatever he says.
Even back then when he did
in Soul Calibur, like, he should get banned.
Shout out to the Flat Earther.
Like, these people should not get banned, but it's when you harm other people, when you assault, when you hurt, that's different. Like, to be able to put your hands on someone that you supposedly love, that's different. So what are you going to do to the next person, the next woman that you lose to? Or you find a woman drunk, like, in the hotel room. Like, I don't trust those people. Like, if you can do that to someone that you love, that you're married to, then why wouldn't you do that to me or you or anyone? And I'm not saying that they should be banned for life, but why should you be around me? Like, how do I know that you're not a danger to me in this space and in this moment right now?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, man. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one because you can't vet people. You can't just be like, oh, I want all your criminal history and stuff. But when things do come out, I don't think the right attitude is to just like allow it. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, I threw the question out. Like, there was no answer. Like, I just threw it out there. Like, I feel like we're both trying to think of a concrete answer that we can write on paper and people sign and everyone agrees to it. Like, it can't really be done. Like you said, like, if it was an Infiltration and it was like someone we didn't know, they'll probably still come to tournaments if they weren't sponsored or anything.
Exactly, and no one knows.
No, and I think if Infiltration he got accused of robbery, I don't think it would have been that deep. Like, I don't think maybe he would have got dropped from his sponsor, but I don't think tournaments would say like, you can't come to our tournaments because you might rob our consoles. Like, I don't think they'll be like, oh, Infiltration's coming, he's gonna draw more people to our tournament because it's Infiltration.
But then the flip side is like, what's the guy that you mentioned earlier? It's me, Andre. Is that his name?
Oh yeah. Oh my god, it's Andre.
Oh my god, it's Andre. Yeah, he's a classic example of someone who like did commit crimes and did do stuff in the past, was allowed, and he did it again. Two people in the FGC. Do you know what I mean? And like, that is an example of, okay, you let them loose, and they prove to you that they should never have been let loose. And like, he actually hit someone. Like, he actually hit a woman. And robbed money from other people, and is just like fucking gross guy.
Yeah, I remember the first time I heard was that he done like identity theft or something like that. Something crazy. Like, he stole someone's card and.
Yeah, and then after that he was allowed back in.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. You know, maybe he's done his dues, maybe he's learned, and then he whacked someone. So that's an example of how it can go wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, because like I do know that's terrible. Like, I feel like people are thinking like, what am I talking? If I'm disagreeing with you, I'm clearly like an arsehole because I'm like going, well, but no, like, obviously you don't hit people, like, straight up, especially over gaming. Like, it's dumb. It's absolutely dumb. I know there's been all occasions in fighting game scenes when it's not about gaming,
No, this wasn't even about gaming. Like, he pinned up a woman to the wall and whacked her.
And I think it's wrong. I'm kind of with what Rigster said. Like, it's a crime outside. I don't know. I think obviously there should be a punishment. Hopefully he'll go to prison. Then he can't go to fighting game tournaments anyway. Like, that would, for me, would be the best case scenario. But you've got people like Noel Brand. He's done some things. He punched someone. This is on YouTube. It's got the most views I've ever seen. It's got like 20,000 views. Where he's playing Marvel 3. Someone's trolling him. The guy's in a sling, and he turns around and punches him. And it took like 3 people to break him up. Yeah, like if you type in Noel Brand behind the car after the podcast, then you can go see it. He done that. But that was kind of like pre-Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel, and that was way before like sponsors were a big thing. Like it was literally like you're either Justin Wong or you don't have a sponsor, or Ryan Hart. Like fighting game players weren't getting sponsored back then. So it was kind of just like locals and like big tournaments. So I felt like if that happened now, he wouldn't see the light of day. He wouldn't be allowed to play online if that happened now.
Yeah.
And it's just like a case of how information travels, and it's more public now, and people obviously they're more.
People have quite a strong reaction, but also like, do you know what? I can count on my hand the number of cases where people have been outed from the community for shit that they've done. Like, there's probably hundreds of cases where people just get away with shit.
Yeah.
And that's the part that you don't see. You don't see like all the wacky fucked up shit that's happened that no one actually knows about.
And that's why I don't think it's fair to block people like Infiltration, because I mean, he's obviously it's a double-edged sword. Like, he's popular, that's why everyone knows his business. Like, that's how it is. If he wasn't such a good player, not everyone would care about him. So if he would have done this and not been a big player, would have, gone under the radar. But I feel bad for people that are in the spotlight that do something bad and they get banned from tournaments when someone who's not known can do it.
Yeah, but this for me is like, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, like outside of our circles and whatnot. But this for me, the thing is, Infiltration knows whether he did this thing or not, right? And whatever he's saying in public, he knows. We don't know. He knows whether he did it. But he cannot admit to it, even if he wanted to. He couldn't put his hands up and be like, you know what, I did this thing. It was bad. I've learnt my lesson. It was fucking wrong. I need to address myself. It's not possible to do that in the FGC, because as soon as you've done something fucked up, that's it. You're done. Like, there's no space for growth. There's no space for learning. There's no space for people to try and change themselves, because we're not at that level. And I'm not actually cussing anyone for this, because the level that we were at previously was, these things don't happen, women are liars, assault doesn't happen, That's where we came from. So understandably, now whenever people find out about it, they're like, fuck this person, get them out. Like, it's the natural reaction to like years of shit just sliding by. But I think the next step is actually, how can we help people? Well, we don't have to help people, but like, how can we support people to change and grow and get better? Do you know what I mean? Instead of just dashing them away.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I know it's not like our duty as the FGC to, reform people, but at the end of the day,
no, it's not.
We're clutching the straws. The scene's not that big. When you compare us to other games, like any other games, we're tiny. Like, if an Overwatch stream got as many as we get for Evo, they would be doing shit. Like, that's how small our scene is in comparison to other ones. And yeah, like I said, it's not our duty to, reform these people. It's not like a Batman Arkham Asylum thing, but I think it couldn't like hurt, considering like how the FGC is. It's meant to be like grassroots, Maybe that is our unique selling point compared to other games. It is very grassroots, and we have totally different rules, which is why we can't be esports. But with that should come the plus of like, look, okay, we're all dickheads. Anyone in the FGC has to be slightly dickheadish to even look at a chat room on a stream chat. Like, you have to be a little bit unhinged to look at that. Just be real, right? Like, you have
to not close it down straight away.
Exactly.
But I guess the thing is, like, we don't have I think you're right. We don't have a duty to fix or reform people. But if we're gonna call ourselves a community, communities are not based on anarchy. Communities have rules, and like these things happen. So how are we gonna deal with it? Are we gonna be brave enough to say, all right, we can allow this person to grow and change, or are we just gonna be like, nah, leave? It's an open question, but yeah.
I would hope it. Like, you know me, I don't care about anyone. I'm very Vegeta-esque. But like I said, with the numbers, the other thing with like fighting games is that you get a lot of introverts and you get a lot of social awkward people, and even on a big scale, those people get, they get trolled, and it's like, why would you troll someone like that? And I know it's the same as committing a crime, but we should all just be like, look, Smash is a fighting game. No one fucking cares. Let's all just be civil, at least civil. Like, that's not.
I agree with Revuzu. He's saying that we need to hold each other to a higher standard, and I agree with that. Like, if we're gonna try and call ourselves a community, like community this, community that, community blah 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 blah, then we can't just act like this is everything goes. Otherwise, we're not a community. Like, then don't pretend you're a community. Just turn up to tournaments and go home.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like, it might sound like I'm contradicting what I was saying earlier, but I'm okay with rules as long as they're there. And not there for certain people and not others. Like, when I was talking about the whole shouting thing, that was because Goichi said it. If I went to a tournament and said, this guy's making too much noise, they'll just cut their eye at me and say, keep playing the fucking game, fam. Like, what you want? I ain't gonna shut that person up. But because it was Goichi, people are like,
it's got credence. Yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
And that's why I'm like, alright, fuck it, no rules then. No one has rules. Straight Wild West out here. But if there's rules, then fine. I'm down for going with rules. Like, I don't want to live in anarchy when it comes to the FGC. I don't want it. Like, there's so much shady stuff that goes on. You've got people literally stealing content, uploading and getting paid for it. And
I know, right?
Everyone laughs about it and like, oh yeah, these people are shit, but the views aren't saying that.
Yeah, exactly. The money's not saying that.
Yeah. Like, we're in an age where we've got things like CFN and you can watch anyone's replay in the game. But then people on YouTube are getting money for taking that content and putting it in a YouTube channel. So it is literally, when I see things like that, it's like, well, it's clearly the Wild West out here. It's handbags at dawn, isn't it? Like, everything goes. Like, you just have to do you and make sure nothing shit happens in your facility. Which obviously goes all the way back, circle back to the point of like how girls are treated, and I think guys maybe think like that too much. They think about that too much. They're like, what am I going to, how they're going to feel losing to a girl, and how they're going to be treated by other guys.
Yeah,
that's what's in their head, and that's why you get the stigma, you get the stupid sexist comments, and yeah, we need regulators. We need people like Obama to pull people up and say like, don't do that shit. Like,
yeah, definitely. Like, people with clout and respect.
It doesn't happen enough, and I mean, I would be down for like penalties for people that do shit like that. Like, it's just not funny, and even if you do find it funny, like, everyone's got their own sense of humor. I'm not saying like it's not funny, no one should laugh at it. It's like, it's not funny to me, but you've got private groups of like WhatsApp and Discord. If you want to laugh about it, laugh it there. Like, don't do it in public where outsiders can see it, because it's not going to help the scene grow. Like, even if you're an arsehole, you still want pop monsters. So stop scaring them away with your stupid like attitude towards us. Like, if you're a top player and you're like, I'm here for myself, this is a girl, all girls are shit. Like, if you're literally Chris G, you still want old Chris G. You still want people to enter tournaments so you can get more money. So don't act like a prick. Like, or act like a prick behind closed doors, at least. Like,
yeah, like, this is the thing. Like, I don't agree with telling people how they should think and whatnot, but just, why do you have to do it to other people?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, why does it have to be your public persona, your public face? Like, keep it to yourself.
I think half the FGC is a popularity contest.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you're funny and you say, you know, wild things, people are going to remember you. They're not going to remember you for being good at a game, but they're just going to remember your tag. And I think that a lot of people are more interested in that than being good. They just want to be known. That's the only reason I can think about why guys act like that, because it makes no sense unless they're literally, you know, they're legit socially awkward and they don't know how to, you know, address people. But there's a lot. I don't think they're all like that. The numbers are way too high for me to go like, yeah, you know what? It's just probably a percentage of people that are like that. And like I said, I can't defend it because I'm in that DBZ group. I'm in there. I see it. I cannot pretend to not see it. But I never saw it when I was in the GG WhatsApp group. Shout out to the GG WhatsApp group. I never saw that. It was only ever about games. And I know the DBZ group has a lot more, let's say, like fresh faces, like people that are newer to fighting games. And it's obviously millennial meme culture sort of stuff. And that stuff just, you can't scroll through Twitter without seeing stupid comments like that. You can't.
Yeah, it's true.
So I guess it's the norm for the generation, but it can't.
And I do agree with Revuzu's comment as well. Like, fighting games are inherently egotistical, so like sometimes that sort of spills out into everyday life.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can see that.
But I guess that's also about an attitude thing as well. Like, if you're focused solely on winning, then yeah, you might be a dick to people by accident, because that's just your whole attitude to the thing. Whereas some people are just there to have fun, some people are there to learn, some people are there to meet people.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I've heard a podcast about, I don't know if you know someone called Frosty Bolt. He came with a comment of basically like, he ain't in the FGC to make friends.
Yeah, I saw that.
Blew up. Like, I know Frosty. I've known him not super long, and I didn't really play the games he was playing in. But I've met him in person, and his attitude is like mine, but he's very just cut and dry. Like, he won't even try to explain his defense. Like, he's just like, my defense is right, yeah? That's it. Like, you agree or you don't agree. He's very cut and dry. And when he said that, I could see what he meant about he's in the FGC not to make friends. Like, he's not here for that reason. But everyone was like, you're an arsehole. Like, how are you not here to make friends? It's like, well, I can see why someone's not here to make friends. You can make friends in a way, and that's a bonus. But you don't have to go play someone and literally get their phone number and go out for a drink. Like, that's not your job. Your job is to play the game, beat people until you get to the top. That's it.
But everyone's in it for different reasons, and that's the thing. Like, everyone should be allowed to be in it for whatever reason they want to be in it for.
Do you think that?
Yeah, I do. Some people actually just want to make friends. Some people want to meet some chick. Some people want to. Some people want to get good.
I think you put too much faith in people. I don't have faith in people's intent. I just don't. I don't trust people.
Fair enough.
Like, when people I get the motion of what you're saying is very nice, and in a perfect world that would be cool, but I'm just gonna see all the potential bad shit that people could think about getting into the scene for. Like you said, even if it is to to talk to chicks or vice versa, for a girl to talk to a guy, it's like, go on Tinder, go on Grindr, go on some other app that does that for you. Don't come in here.
But you know, like, let's be honest. Like, how many people outside the FGC are like, oh my god, I met this gamer boy. Him playing 40 hours of games a week. Oh yeah, I found that so attractive.
I mean, no, a girl would not say that, but a guy would absolutely say that. If a guy found a girl who was playing the game for 20 hours in her knickers, streaming, like, he would be all over that. He'd be all over that.
That's true. That is true.
So, and I'm like, okay, cool, that is what you're into, that's fine. But you don't have to play fighting games to seek that. Like, that's my... And it's a very closed off mentality, and that's just because I'm wary of everyone. Like, I like to think I'm approachable, but I won't want to make friends with you if you don't bring anything to the table.
Yeah.
That's how I am. If there's no like conversation bad, you don't have to agree with everything I say or anything like that. It's just have a normal conversation. If you can't have a normal conversation with me, then I'll be civil to you and that's it. Because I know, like that. it doesn't do anything for me. Why? Oh, unless you're really good at the game as well. If I can learn something in game, but normally when people are coming in for other reasons than to play the game, they're not good at the game.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
But that's okay, because like people talk about it being a community, and let's be honest, like your casual players in whatever game are the ones keeping that franchise alive.
This is that's true. That is very true. They are the majority has the power of the scene more than TOs, more than the players now in this sort of like ecosystem that we have. You've got tournaments where the most important thing is the stream because it needs to be seen, and it's like surely the players would be most important because without the players there would not be a tournament, or the TOs hiring the venue. It's like, well, you know, if no one watches it, we can't keep doing this sort of thing. There's no money in it. So,
exactly. And like this is I think the mind trap that competitive players get in. Like they have their scene, or we have our scene, and like we know everyone in it, we play everyone in it, we're on stream, we're winning tournaments, we're doing this, we're traveling, we're doing that. But actually, you are 5% of the player base of this game. And yeah, you're the most talented, but you're not bringing the money in.
Yep.
So
I absolutely agree. Top players are
like
the smallest part of
this is why I think that I don't know. I aspire to be one of those top players. Like that is why I'm in the community. I'm in the community to, you know, to meet people, to grow with people. I'm okay with making friends. I'm not against it. I didn't come into it for that reason, but I'm happy for people to be in it for whatever reason they want, because I think that everyone brings something to the table. Even if you don't engage in that thing that they're bringing, like cosplayers, they bring some like excitement and entertainment. Like casual players, even the shit talkers bring something, because you have someone to cuss, and that's fun.
We all need trolls. I knew the eco was fucked up when trolls were needed, and they are needed. If there's no trolls, there's no reason for me to look at the chat. There's no reason for me to look at the chat if there's no trolls, because I want to see how fucked up everyone is. But
so everyone is needed in their own ways, and it's a community.
It's an ecosystem, but it's got to be the only ecosystem where the higher you get in the system, the less relevant you are.
Yeah, but the more relevant you think you are.
When you're at the bottom, just being a stream monster, saying your little shit, subbing to Team Spooky, you make more of an impact. Because if Chris G, if Justin Wong, and all them lot stop entering tournaments, there'll still be tournaments.
Exactly.
It wouldn't matter.
The level might get lower, fine, but like they'll still be there.
There'll still be tournaments.
There'll still be some guy that thinks he's the best player or whatnot.
Exactly. There will still be a winner, and if anything, if there's no top players going, more people will enter. So I know loads of people that don't go to tournaments because they're like, oh well, I won't win. If they knew no one good was going, you get loads of people there. So yeah, the better you get, don't forget that. That is, I might get that friend on the top, mate. The more relevant you become, the more irrelevant you are.
Exactly.
Stay being a pot monster. Stay being a personality. Mike Ross was correct. He did the right thing. He jumped out super quick. And now he's immortalized. He's literally immortal. There's people that never seen him play a game, but know Mike Ross and Gootecks. It's literally insane. Marvel, like, fun fact for all the millennials, Mike Ross started on Marvel 2. Not Street Fighter. But who cares? Gootecks played Urian in Third Strike. He was a godlike Urian player. Doesn't matter. Gootecks shimmy. That's all you need to know. Like, PogChamp. That's all you need to know about Gootecks. So, they jumped out real quick at the right time. But yeah, so I guess we should like wrap it up because we got on a mad tangent. I guess
it's been good though. I'm trying to think if there's like any topics that we didn't talk about Yohozi, to be fair.
Didn't. I did say that.
You did mention it, but I think we got stuck on infiltration. And then just went off from there to like everyone.
Yeah. So Yohozi, you can throw down the Yohozi story, the Summit story, right?
Yeah, I guess it's the Summit story, but also like loads of other stories. And I guess with Yohozi, like she has definitely grown as a player. I think it's the first thing that you've got to say, because like to be fair to her legacy in the game so far, she definitely started off as someone who everyone was like, oh, why is this person in Summit? And then came back from her 12-0 loss in Summit and like definitely leveled up and got better. But essentially, Summit of Power, was it last year, 2018, Dragon Ball Fighters? She got voted in, was like one of the last players to get voted in. And you have to bear in mind she's got like a huge Twitter following, like loads of Twitch followers, etc. Really, just really popular community member and fighting game player, and American. I guess that's one thing to mention as well. Like the Americans tend to be more popular than most.
Yeah.
But everyone essentially said that she should never have been let in because the Summit of Power should be an exhibition of like the best talent in the community, and she wasn't good enough to be there, despite the fact that she got voted in. And then people's sort of assumptions were proven correct when she went 12-0 in the tournament, and then everyone was like, "See, told you she should never have been there. She's rubbish." Blah 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 blah. And that was all like mixed up with loads of other things. So like people making comments about the fact that she's a woman, the fact that she's trans. And yeah, I guess from my perspective, like lots of things were mixed up with it. She was definitely the underdog in that tournament, but a lot of the ways in which people were mocking her was getting mixed up with stuff around her gender, and like cussing her for her gender and for being trans, and like that was just out of order. And then in response to that, I think loads of people supported her because of that.
Yeah.
But then I think she had the exact right attitude. She came out of that huge loss and got better as a player, and like put her foot down and was like, "Do you know what? I know I can be good. I'm gonna prove it."
Yeah, that I think you're right with it kind of caused a divide, and I think that was one of the big points where people were like these people are arseholes, and the people that thought that obviously, you know, supported Yohozi more.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Wow, we thought it was all a myth about how people are in the FGC when it comes to transgenders and women, and it was like, wow, we could see it. We can actually see these tweets that aren't eggs. Like, these are real FGC people with followers and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're saying that. It's like, wow, I just can't, yeah. And that divide was, I think, very important. I think she obviously didn't do it on purpose. She didn't go out of her way to be like a martyr and take 12 L's to, you know, prove to people that people are arseholes. I know she didn't do that. But I think it was important that people saw the response she got, which is stupid, because there's a difference between, like you said, someone going 9-12, because anyone, I could have got ended in Summit, and I would have got some of that hate. Like, why is he there? He's gone 0-12. See, it was wrong to put him in there because he plays 17. Plug myself. And I would have got bodied. But some of the stuff that people were saying to her were definitely outside of the 0-12 situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Being undeserved. It was like, yeah. So, I can't defend it. I don't know why people thought her being trans was why she went 0-2. I don't know. I can't see the correlation in that. It's there. I don't know how you can stop that mentality. Like, if pre-Ricky can't, who the fuck can? Let's be real. Like,
yeah, it's true.
Like,
I guess that's why it's just, so it was really important how she, not that she did it for the community because she just enjoys the game, but she came from that defeat and was like really salty, but then was like, do you know what? I'm gonna improve. And then what happened? What tournament was it that she knocked out? Was it Lord Knight? And then like started like knocking out good players.
I mean, she did get to one of, I think she got top 8 in one of the World Tour, the last chance qualifiers at the World Tour. I'm pretty sure she got top 8 in one of them.
Yeah.
So she had to have bodied someone to get top 8. She had to have bodied someone. I can't remember.
Reviews were saying it was NCR.
Was it? Oh, that would have been.
I don't remember what tournament it is, but I remember the breaking point where people are like, "Oh shit, your Hosey's good." I remember it. I remember people saying it. Because at some point they couldn't deny the fact that actually, yeah, she did improve and she was way better.
Yeah. No, she's. I think it was evident. Me personally, it was evident before she got put into Summit. Like, I know she was known as like a Twitter head, where she would upload lots of like content. But you could see it in her tournament results. Like, even at her locals, it was like, yeah, she lost to Apology Man. It's like, yeah,
Apology
most people
Man.
would. Yeah, most people would lose to Apology Man. Like, that's pretty fair. It's like, and it's not because she's a girl she lost to Apology Man. It's because Apology Man's fucking good. Like,
yeah, there was a bit of downplaying as well. Like, going into the summit, yeah, okay, maybe there were some other players who had better tournament results than her. That's totally true. Like, you can't deny that. But it's not like she was a bad player.
No.
Do you know what I mean? She was
full
never a
of
bad
killers.
player.
That's stupid. Like, you can look at like CBT. Like, if you look at CBT, there's literally all the killers. Someone has to go 0-2. Doesn't mean that it's shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Daigo,
Even Dogura, I'm pretty sure Dogura, for the first day of the summit, didn't. What was it?
he got whacked up. He lost
Yeah,
to
he got
Lord
absolutely
Knight.
hammered. Yeah, exactly. He got
got
absolutely like duppied.
And he's Japanese. Like, that's unheard of, right? Like, Japanese players, his training partners fucking... It was Kaz and Goichi. Mostly Goichi, because they're on the same team. But yeah. No one really got a Dogura and said he was washed up. Or didn't deserve to be there. He didn't win anything. At that point,
Yeah, exactly.
he got close.
Exactly.
He didn't win anything, though. He didn't win the first major one, because Goichi won it. He beat Goichi, and I think he reset the bracket, but he didn't win. Dogura's not won much in DBZ. He's not won much. He won one last chance qualifier, I believe. I don't think he won a tournament before that. He definitely didn't get in Dragon Ball. He might have
Definitely
got a
getting better though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
He's an absolute killer now.
But no one can't say shit about him because it's Dogura. And Yohozi was doing well in Blaz. Was it Blaz or Persona? I think it was Persona, right? I think it was Persona she used to play. And she used to get top 8s in Persona.
Yeah, and she was
and
getting
Akio.
To be fair, she was getting top 8s in DBZ before the summit. But
yeah,
I think there was a bit of downplaying, and then so as a response, her supporters overplayed her. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I see that. I know that there was a lot of hype behind her when Sonic Fox was playing Gotenks, and it's like, oh, this is because of Yohozi, you're playing like Gotenks because she showed you all the tech and all this sort of stuff. I think she got a lot of clout that way, not clout in a bad way, but she got recognised. She got recognised for the work she was putting in, and I think that's fair.
Absolutely,
it's totally fair. I think there's hating, and then there's what happened to her, and which has happened loads of times. It happened to Guilty in Street Fighter 5. People used to troll the shit out of her. She done like what was that thing called? The E-League, where they got loads of Street Fighter 5 players.
Yeah.
They Stream Chat is just it was a burial ground for her. Like, it was bad, and she's a good player. Like, I don't follow Street Fighter 5 that much, but I can see wins when I see wins. And with Dao Sim in past, like, the first couple of seasons, it wasn't a given. It was only like her and Commander Jesse, and there's one other sim player, I can't remember his name, who did really good at the last chance qualifiers. But she got borderline abused, like the shit that she was getting. And I think that E-League thing was really good because it showed all the aspects of the FGC. Like, I'm happy Lord Knight was Low Tier God was there, because he's the side of us that no one wants to admit that they have. Everyone can be a bit like Lord Knight.
Evil side, that evil side.
Everyone's got a little bit of LTG in them. Let's not fake it. And they knew that. That's why they put him in.
I think the ego side, definitely. I'm not a dick. I don't make fun of people like he does, but 100% the ego side. When I'm ready to like rub a win in your face, I will do that.
Exactly. That's what I said a little bit. No one is low to God, thank God. But yeah, everyone's got that, like, I am the best, even though I'm probably not the best. But everyone has to believe it. Like, you need that to progress in games.
Progress, yeah, defo.
He's just got it in too much. He stole everyone else's. That's what he did. Like, he is ego personified. But it was needed. It was a good representation of the scene as a whole. They weren't just picking individual people. They were picking types of players, and that's why I liked it. And it had done the same with the. There was something called the E-League. It was basically like how they did the Pro League for Injustice, but they did it with Street Fighter, and they put Gootix in there, and everyone kicked off. And they put Hello Kitty in there, and Gootix got ripped because of, like, this guy's not even good at the game. Why have you got in there? It's like, it's an aspect of the FGC. He's iconic in the FGC. I think this was before PogChamp.
But that's a similar thing with Chris G. And actually, speaking of which, I'm looking at the Beyond the Summit MK11 release, and Chris G has been replaced with Honeybee, which I completely agree with because it's freaking joke that Honeybee wasn't in there already. But
yeah, Honeybee is...
what you're talking about with Gootecks is exactly the same.
See, I kind of saw it from the aspect that Christy is good at NRS games. He was a tester in Injustice 1. He was a tester. And he did body people with Green Arrow, but this is MK, so I kind of went, oh, I know it's NRS, but they're different games.
And he was apparently like a major player in MK9, but come on, that was 12. That was in 2012. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I am a person,
and he's not a major player in the scene at the moment.
I'm a advocate of people holding on to accolades for way too fucking long. Give it up. Give it the fuck up. Like, I won Guilty Gear at Versus Fighting. I did not go to Winner Stays On DBZ and said, like, I won Guilty Gear this year. Like, seed me. I didn't do that. Like, I wouldn't expect to get special treatment in something, not alone a different game, that happened years ago or a year ago. Like, that was dead.
Exactly.
You got rewarded for it. You got rewarded for all the money you won in MK9.
Exactly.
Like,
why do you need to carry on having this clout when there are loads of people in the community like who are doing shit now? Gurr, Honeybee, Biohazard. Like, you could list the number of players who are killing it. Foxy's in, thank God.
Oh, good. Alright, cool. Yeah. But
like, it would have been a travesty if he wasn't.
But that's what I think. I think the Summit wanted personalities, and
is he even a personality though? I'm gonna say it.
Everyone knows him.
Everyone knows him, but like...
Wait, alright, maybe his personality isn't attractive. Okay, yeah, maybe known's better. Like, Gootecks is a personality, he is just known. I'm trying to think, in the DBZ Summit, was there a personality? There wasn't really a personality in there. But the commentators. The commentators were
the commentators brought it.
The players they weren't really personalities. Like, Lord Knight was good. Lord Knight is good. Lord Knight was good at the time. The Kill Stage was really good. Yohozi didn't have, like, she wasn't known enough to be a personality. So that she must have got in there from skill. So it's a bit weird. Like, I guess Chris Jesus, that name that they just wanted on there, but
he's a name. Like, I don't know. I've never.
He transcends NRS. I think a lot of NRS
people love him.
Yeah, I think.
But I don't get it.
Yeah, love's a very strong. I appreciate what he does in fighting games. Like,
absolutely.
He plays fighting games in a very unique way that I can appreciate, and
he's a fighting game prodigy. Like, he's extremely good. He's extremely talented, but I don't know. He's a bit of a wet fish. That's just my opinion.
Oh, I don't watch. I can watch his streams on mute. Put it that way. That's how I'll sum it. I don't need to hear what he's saying.
I get that.
And I would get the same enjoyment if it was muted or at 100 volume. There's certain people I watch because of the personality. He's not one of them. I'll watch him to go, wow, that was sick what you thought about doing there, but that's as far as it goes. For NRS though, I feel a lot of NRS heads, female or male, aren't as well known outside of NRS.
Look at this. Foxy Grandpa's come in the chat, being like, I'm a dickhead. Now, the joke about that is it's just a lie. Like, everyone knows you're one of the nicest guys.
Have you not seen his
Stop
PSN?
Chatting shit.
You haven't seen his PSN ID, have you? Exactly.
What, isn't it like, what is it, you what mate or something like that?
You want to fight him in IRL? He's a bit of an arsehole. He played Bardock, he's definitely an arsehole. But he can't be, like, bypassed when it comes to
Foxy
NRS.
will body you, but like...
He'll laugh at it.
I'm sorry, Foxy, I disagree with you. You're the furthest thing from a dickhead. I'm sorry if you think that's your persona. But you're actually a sound guy, so I'm not having that.
I think deep down he wants to be a villain, but he can't. He can't be a villain.
Yeah.
Be a villain. Yeah, you need to be cut off a special cloth to be a villain. I think he hasn't got it. He can upset people, but he can't upset the masses.
Yeah, and he might not be able to be a villain, but he's got the whole like top NRS player thing, which kind of seems like, you know, might be enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we've seen recently that better to be a top player and not be a villain. # Tweedy.
Big yikes.
Big
Tweedy
yikes.
was a massive yikes. He like, boy. He went on a mad one. He went on such a rampage. It was literally a rampage. But that's all been addressed. Hopefully, I don't think he said anything about females. That was just nice.
Do you know what? I feel real bad for Tweedy. Like, I feel bad for the guy. Like, his whole rampage as well was because he thought that there weren't going to be any qualifiers. So he went on this whole crazy hype because Chris G and Tyrant got in. And there's not going to be any qualifiers, and I've worked so hard, and like there are 2 qualifiers. And had he just shut up, he would have been able to travel with his sponsor to a qualifier, and he would have 100% have gotten in. And now he's got no sponsor, no money. He's lost all respect.
It's mad. Like, I watched, I think Tweedy played MK, right? He played 10 and 9, didn't he? I think he did. Foxy can clarify. I knew him from Injustice 2. That's where I knew him from. And when I was watching like the Pro League and stuff, when he entered, he never came across like that. It was, I honestly thought people were talking about something.
But do you know what? The thing is, though, I actually agreed with Tweedy's argument. I agreed with his arguments, but I think his comments to, what's that chef guy?
Oh, Wonder Chef.
Wonder Chef. Because he didn't know about Wonder Chef's dad and the whole medical stroke and that whole situation, and he made like an offhand comment. I think that's when it went downhill for him.
Yeah, really quick.
Up until that point, I was like, I completely backed this guy. Like, why is Chris G in here? Blah 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 blah.
But he went on it. The way he went about it was kind of mad. Like, you can say, like, all he had to say was like, I've been doing a lot more work than Chris G at this moment in time, and no one could like argue with that.
But to be fair, that was just his whole personality. That's how Tweedy always goes about stuff. But it was just, yeah, it went that little bit too far.
It was entitlement gone way too far. Like, he felt entitled to be invited to an invitational, which is where you went wrong the first point. That's rule number 1. You don't force or try to plant ideas into people on why you should have been invited. If it's not a voting system. Like,
true, but I don't know. I did agree with his argument in the sense that he has been putting in work for this game, and he went from like an online warrior to people completely downplaying him to becoming a top player in the game, and that's sheer hard work, and I respect that grind, and I would have loved to see him in the summit. But I think people actually rate him for his mouthiness, but just this one time, like just one too many tweets. He just needed someone to take his phone away for a few minutes and just be like, Tweedy, now stop now.
He needed a PR for that moment.
Yeah.
He needed his battery to run out or something. Like, he needed to stop. Someone needed to stop him. Someone needs to level 3 trunks him.
He needs to be stopped.
He needs to be chucked into the air and needs to hold the heat dome. Like, he literally kamikazed himself. Like, no one did that to him. He did it to himself. And using, I don't want to say he used, I know I do want to say it, but I don't, but I'm going to say it anyway. He used Chris G as a scapegoat, as in, look, I've done better than this person. He shouldn't need to put someone down to prove your point. You shouldn't need to do that. And his point is evident. It's hell evident. I'm not arguing that what he was saying was actual factual. Like, he had put in mad work, but at the end of the day, it's an invitational, and they didn't tell you why they invited those people. You assumed that it was top players. That's what you assumed. It might not have been. Like, there's other things like the examples we brought up with LTG. LTG is not that fucking good at Street Fighter. Any Street Fighter. Don't listen to him. It doesn't matter that he's just like, he's got the Covenant and he's the best Urin and whatever. He's shit. He's shit at Street Fighter. But he got invited because he embodies part of the FGC. Same with Gutex. He wasn't that good at Street Fighter 5. He openly admits that he's not. But he got invited to an invitational for an esports quote-unquote event.
But I guess I get that, but I don't know, it's just something I just feel in the case of Chris G. Like, I get why he was invited in the sense that he's really strongly connected to NRS, but I don't know, the fact that you've tested a game, like, so what?
Was PL invited?
PL was not invited.
Exactly. I think that's more of an outrage. Shout out to Foxy, he just reminded me about PL. He, fuck the Evo wins. He went to the Playboy Mansion and played fucking MKX with Playboy bunnies. No one in the FGC can say that. No one can say that. He did that. That's transcending fighting games. That's way transcending fighting. He actually made it cool to do, to play fighting games.
I think I would have maybe this is like me coming from a selfish sort of viewer audience perspective, but I would have put PL in for the potential upset. Like if him and Sonic, for example, were to meet in the summit, that would have been drama.
That would have been drama. That would have been fun drama. I think PL is definitely a guy that can hold the L. He can hold it. He didn't like run away or anything like that. I mean, he went undercover for a little bit. He went MIA. But some players that when they get shown up like that, literally vanish. They spend the bar, they vanish, and they come off screen. They don't come back. They're not plus or anything. They're gone.
Yeah, but I agree with Foxy. Like PR, I really like Perfect Legend. By the way, like I follow him. I go on his streams. I think he's a cool guy. But I agree with Foxy's comment where he says PR has dug himself into an inescapable hole. I just think that's true. I just think his social media persona, like the fact that he, alright. If PR ever listens to this, PR, I think you're a great guy, but I think you make too many excuses for things, to be honest.
I'll agree with that. Like, I don't...
Everything is not to do with him. It's the stream, or it's the setup, or it's this person, or that person, or... Yeah.
I definitely think he's tarnished. Like, his reputation and his attitude is never going to be the you know, oh, he's a multi-time winning Evo champ. That's gone. That's the last thing on his CV. That's the last thing people are going to see in the CV. But what was that guy that Sonic Fox had beef with? He was like a brother, and he spoke the most smack about him before Injustice 2 came out. What was his name? Fuck. And he used to have like curly hair.
Smack about PL?
No, about Sonic Fox. It was Sonic Fox and this other guy. I can't remember his name. He's from New York. I think he's got like a brother. That's gonna bug me. Fox.
Jammer's saying, is it MJT? No, I don't think so.
I don't think that's his name. Foxy would know, and I remember like streams when he was playing him, and they were just talking smack. And I think he was playing like Supergirl, and this guy was basically saying to Sonic Fox like, when this game comes out, I'm gonna play, and you're not gonna run amok like you did in the other games. That's what he was saying. He was like, people are gonna level up, they're gonna be better than you. You're not even that good, and I can't remember his name. No, not Theo. But am I gonna have to look for it? I'm gonna have to look for it. Oh my god.
The thing about Sonic though, now Sonic's another guy who like I think is just really great. He can back it up.
Yeah, he can back it up.
He will talk shit, and then he'll go through at the challenge, which I think is another issue with PL. Like he doesn't seem to want to accept any grudge matches, any first to tens, nothing like that. And I think to be honest, I'm gonna own up to it and say if I was him, and if I had been through like and still living through the whole legacy of 13-0, I probably wouldn't pay any first to tens either.
CD Junior, Manny, that's the person. I was listening to what you're saying, but I just found that person's name. CD Manny. Sonic Fox, like you were saying, he can back up his smack talk, and he's openly said like that's why he does it. Yeah, Manny, Foxy knows. Manny was going in. He was going in. He was like, I'm going to destroy you. And he is disintegrated. He's just not here anymore.
Disintegrated, you know?
He is
wow.
He does not exist. He got Hakai'd. He got Beerus Hakai'd out of existence after Injustice 2. And he was a big name. Well, maybe not that big, but he was known. Yeah, he's got a brother. I can't remember. I don't know if his brother's talked to anything, but Manny,
Foxy says he got dead shotted out of existence.
And this is what I was saying. The difference between like him, like this is what I was saying about PL. Still, at least he's still around. He can show his face. Like people will laugh at his face, but he can still show it. Like Manny literally just got Hakai'd. He got power driven into the center of the earth, and he's not.
Yeah.
And I think you need.
Yeah, PL, he still shows up. He still plays his games. Like he still goes to tournaments. He doesn't place terribly. He's just not in that upper echelon anymore.
Nah, not anymore. Which kind of sucks. But I mean, trying to.
But you know what? I think part of it is because, as Foxy said, he's like dug himself into this hole. He doesn't regularly play these top players anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not part of that clique of people who get games with each other, stream with each other, and like I said, like.
earlier, that's how people, that's how you get better. Like, if you, for whatever reason, you're a woman or you're PL, get excluded from that group, then you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it.
Do you think there's anything females can do or women can do to kind of get that treatment? Do you think they deserve it in any way, or do you think it's purely like unjust?
I don't think it's about like what you deserve. I just think it's who you're friends with. Like, you play who you're friends with, you play who you're cool with. If you go to locals, you'll play people. And I just think a part of it, I think, is luck of the draw. Do you know what I mean? And part of it is pure talent as well. Like someone like Cuddlecore, she's got everything going on. Like, she's got good friends in the FGC who are also top players, so she can play them consistently. But she's just fucking talented and works really hard. Like, it's a bit of everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, a bit of everything. Yeah, and Infinity as well. But Infinity is the exact same position as Cuddlecore. Like, she's got natural talent, but she's also got top player friends. She's in a relationship with Forever King. She can play him. She's gonna be fucking amazing in MK11 because she's a talented player. But she's also got access to top players to play games with constantly, and it makes a difference.
I guess to wrap it up, because it's nearly been 3 hours. I think we touched on everything we wanted to. Do you think there's any solutions? Like, I kind of want to do podcasts where we at least attempt to solve the problem we're like addressing. And do you think there's, on either side, like on the women's side or the guy sides, what they can do to, you know, make this stupid divide less?
I think
gone would be obviously preferred, but
everyone should just not be a dick to people. Like, bottom line, don't be a dick. If you think something might be dickish, then just err on the side of caution. Try and include people in things. Just try and not like do things that are exclusive. Like, as I mentioned earlier, like who you're inviting to sessions and stuff like that. Be mindful of those things. I agree with Foxy. Be a dick in game. Don't be a dick outside of the game. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. But also, like, to women, like, try to just let go of that pressure. And I need to tell that to myself as well. Like, try to just play your game. Do whatever you can do to get rid of that pressure, because it really can hold you back and really can change. I just think about my own experiences, like just being so nervous that my mind freezes up, and I'm nervous because I feel I have to prove something to people like in the crowd. Do you know what I mean? And like just being able to let go of that pressure, I think will make a massive difference.
Yeah, I definitely would say that. I mean, obviously I can't feel the same pressure, but I would say like trying to alleviate the pressure. I think you need enough to stay hungry to want to get good. You need a little bit of pressure to
yeah, definitely.
But not going into a match with like the weight of the world on your shoulder. Definitely.
Yeah, it should be pressure because you want to win. It shouldn't be pressure because, oh, I have to prove that.
Yeah, exactly.
Women aren't shit at games.
Yeah, like your own pressure, not other people's baggage. If it's your own baggage, that's cool. But don't feel like you have to do it for other people that you don't know, especially that you don't know.
Exactly.
I think if people, I guess elaborating on people not being dicks. I think I can only talk on my like experience, and the people that I've kind of given my time to, like, let's say when it comes to like matches or people asking for advice, even though I don't think I'm that good, but like I didn't give someone different advice to what I gave to you when we was playing like DragonBall.
Yeah.
Like, and I can't see why people would. I wouldn't think calling you babe would improve your skill. Like, I don't see it. I don't know how that would bring anything to the conversation. Like, I don't.
That dude definitely was not trying to improve my skill. He was trying to improve something in his life, and it didn't work.
It didn't work. It went super flaccid, and he had to teabag you to bring it back up.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, sometimes your scramble doesn't work in your favor. That's why I don't scramble. I stay full screen and play it safe. I played it safe, and I was like, you know what? You're a blue Vegeta player. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Like, so, babe power.
But can we finish on a positive note? I want to do some shout outs to some great people.
Do it.
Soul Calibur UK community, you're awesome. Elf, you're awesome. UK NRS community, you're awesome.
Chris G, your butters.
What happened to the happy note? What happened to the positive vibes?
Sorry.
Wow.
Forget that last sentence.
Crazy.
Alright, moving on. Here, the whole stream was about being nice to people, and I was just a dick.
Can't help yourself, you know. It's alright. You're part of the FGC. We've all got a little bit of low tier God. I told you. He's in everyone. He's a little bit of him is in everyone.
Jammers is like positive note, yeah.
Positive vibes, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, Chris G, he's not there anymore, so I guess everyone can rejoice. I guess. I'm thinking that was the consensus. Like, no one wanted him to go. It's a big divide between. I don't really feel it's like a Chris G versus Tweedy anymore. I don't think that's a thing. What is more important is females feeling like they can be associated. I think that's like the best word. Associated with fighting game guys. Because
yeah.
They can do their own thing. Like Persia's doing it. Persia's doing her own thing. I think it's important that girls can feel like they're not got that pressure or shunned or underdogs when it comes to playing in tournaments. So yeah, like we said before, like having a girls only tournament is a terrible idea.
Yeah, I agree.
You just need, I don't know what you can do to make people think that girls aren't bad at games, because to me it's inherently like logical that that's a dumb mentality to have. But
people just have to play. People just like women just it's the reality. Women just have to get good and smoke people out. Yeah, exactly. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. That's what happened with Slayer and Infinity. That's what's happened with Cuddlecore. Like, that's what people just have to do.
It's one of those ones that it's always going to be a bit harder because you're always going to have the fewer numbers.
Exactly.
If I go back, it's not the same. But if I go back to the pad comparison, because you've got new generation players that don't have the nostalgia of playing on stick, pads aren't looked as weird anymore. But I'm telling you, if you go back like 5 years, someone playing on a pad in tournament was bizarre. Like, commentators would say it. Like, why would you need to tell me that someone is playing on a pad? It's weird. Like, if someone's playing on a Guitar Hero guitar, that's weird. Yeah. Talk to me about
like
that.
What do you call it?
What are the hot pillow things?
No, the racing wheels.
Oh, they're weird as well. Yeah, racing wheel, odd peripheral. Yeah, that's cool. But it's not like pads aren't standard with consoles. Like, why was that strange? So yeah, they had their numbers increased, but females are always going to be like a minority when it comes to entries. So they kind of have to do more work because they've got fewer numbers. Which is,
and like various different like pressures and whatnot, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to do anyway. And whether I achieve that or not is not that important. What's more important is just like enjoying the games, really.
Yeah, that's the thing that's going to make you stick around. Clearly, it's not Chris G's face, so you need to be enjoying the game you're playing.
Do you know what? When I said that, I didn't even mean his face. I meant his personality. But yeah, whatever. That's fine.
You're not going to correct me, are you? If I say his face is ugly, you're not going to correct me. So, but that's cool.
I don't think he's not like that kind of. He's like all right. He's just standard, standard guy. Like nothing too extreme. But
that back pedal was amazing. It's all right. I'm sure you don't think Chris G's butters. He's just any guy, and that's how guys should look at girls. They're just any other player. Just look at them as a player and not anything else. They're not. They could beat you. They could not. It's just how things should be. But we're not in a perfect world. But I think almost 3 hours. I think we covered most of the topics. I might have to revisit this. I kind of want to get like a group. I mean,
that'd be really cool. A group would be really cool.
A group would be good.
Group of loads of people.
I obviously want to cover all the sides, but then again, that means I'd have to get someone who is sexist. I don't really want that, and I don't think I'll be able to find anyone because I'm not going to go. Oh, I need someone on my podcast on Twitter. Holler at me if you're sexist because I need you for.
Yeah.
That's not really going to work. So yeah, maybe just a group of girls. Or maybe like girls
or maybe
that are
just
in like cosplay girls, not because they're cosplay girls, but they can see it from a different aspect than fighting game.
Yeah, it is a different like essence, I suppose. Like
Yeah.
you get a different opinion.
Because it is kind of the same scene, like cosplay. It's all fantasy bullshit. Like, if you're truly honest, like I always say, like when people kind of put other people down, like fighting game players putting out Smash players, I'm like, you know, if someone from the gym came and saw you sitting playing any fighting game, they're gonna say you're a nerd. Like, you do understand that, right? And that's how I see like how people should be in the whole of like fighting games comics. We're all just weirdo nerds. That's it. So I see cosplaying and fighting games and all that sort of stuff as the same umbrella. Don't know till you try it. I'm definitely not going to try it. I'm definitely not going to try and ask for people to message me if they're sexist. That's one thing I will not do. Sorry, mate.
But on that weirdo nerds vibe, which I completely agree with, I have to bounce.
Yeah,
but thank you so much for hosting me. It was a great conversation. And yeah, I'll catch you soon, man.
Alright then. In a bit, RedBean.
Take care. Bye.